soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just empleados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head-to-head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Breast controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can. It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
I didn't have much choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here. But food on the table.
Why are you here?
Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfden, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! Let in the opposite! Good night! Down! Cover me! Suppressing fire! Hang in there! Reloading! Guard! Guard! We're in that asshole! Reloading! Turn it down!
Just do your fucking job. All units, move up! Eat shit! Good night! Get down! Keep moving! Quit playing with your food for fuck's sake. This is why I'm gonna take you out. We're in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you said there's nobody here.
Not stop, boys!
is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to leave immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just empleados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Brest controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
I didn't have much choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here. But food on the table.
Why are you here? Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfden, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! And in the opposite!
take you out. We're in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you
personnel.
said there's nobody here.
Now stop, boys! Cover me! Hold position!
I couldn't breathe.
Get to the second floor. The rest follow me. Off the first floor. We need reinforcements. Sir, we can't hold any longer.
The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to be immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak.
Good evening, everyone. We are back for another Golden Lions Legion event. I am here with the 7WG. We're going to be casting the event tonight. We've got an exciting one for you, a teams matchup. Seven, what do you have to say about tonight's matches?
I'm excited, man. First of all, finally we get a pleasure to work together on one of these events. Last time I had to do it solo. You've been doing it solo for quite a while too, so I'm glad we get a chance to do this. And I can't wait to see who's going to be able to come out on top, whether it's going to be the Espanol team, aka Spanish team, or is it going to be the English, because there has been some changes that we'll be talking about here in a little bit.
Yeah, we've got a strong set of players, and we'll go through them here in a bit, but these guys are well experienced, not just in Arena Breakout. We've got some PUBG all-stars in the lobbies tonight as well, and historically PUBG players have done quite well in these Arena Breakout events. The mechanics are undeniable. We've talked about it before, but that's absolutely the case, so we might see some of that action tonight.
Yeah, and I think you're hinting at me, Tech, as well. I mean, we know what he's capable of. I know he's looking to redeem himself as well, because last time he was here, it was a bit of a struggle to get off the bat. So I'm hoping the whole team is going to be coming in together and trying to get that W, because TV Station, I got a chance to play it a lot as soon as it came out. And boy, let me tell you, the bots there are absolutely insane, especially when it comes to the bosses. They need to watch out. They need to make sure they clear them quickly. And they got to watch out for them brats, because they're going to be all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a high intensity map, and we've got some players tonight that have a high intensity play style. Now, obviously, we're going to mention this, but if you haven't downloaded Arena Breakout yet from the Apple or Google Play Store, you are behind the times. Pick up the game. Season 3 launch. We've got TV Station with our most recent map edition here, and it is the most high intensity map in the game. So if you haven't gotten into the action, you gotta join us here. This is week 16 of this series with the Golden Lions Legion, and so we've been doing it for a while. Let's talk a little bit about these teams. We've got Rion versus Metech today.
I think it's finally we get a chance to actually talk about these teams. And for everybody currently wondering, where's Kiwi? What's going on with that team? Kiwi actually wasn't going to be able to make it because of some family emergency. So what happened is Rion decided to step in, and boy, it's still going to be a stacked team. For the English team, they're going to have Rion replacing Kiwi. On top of that, you're going to have Trashy, Monarch. Monarch, if he ends up winning this under Rion's team, that's going to be 4 in a row now that he's going to be a champion of. That's going to be really impressive. And then you have Alex as well coming in and being able to be part of that squad. And then on the Spanish team, you have Metech, you have Alucard, Kennedy Coco, which, by the way, these are all top players. And then on top of that, you have Tokyo. So the competition is going to be spicy here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a lot of these players' names we have seen before. So talking about these rules, now this is a format that I love because we've seen the entire Golden Lions Legion series go from kills to loot and back and forth. Tonight, we have both kills and loot, and this is 5 20-minute rounds. 5 20-minute rounds on TV Station Lockdown Zone. So high intensity map, high intensity mode here tonight.
Yeah, and also we got to keep out for that 500 coin limit. So there's going to be no thermals in this one, which for anybody thinking out there of bringing a thermal into TV Station, just don't do it. You would highly regret it, unless for some reason, just keep in mind, they are going to be playing against other people. Maybe they might be able to run into a team running thermals.
It's possible, and I mean, the risk of bringing thermals, I don't even want to think about the risk of bringing thermals to the TV station. So 5 matches, just like I said, 20-minute rounds. Now remember, if these guys get in a 4-minute extraction, some crazy fast extraction, they can iterate as many games as they want in that 20-minute round. 5 of those rounds tonight. We're going to have a couple of 10-minute breaks after our second and fourth games. So we've got a lot of action coming at you for the rest of the evening here with an hour and 40 minutes of gameplay coming at you.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see how some of this play, how many games they can actually get within those 20 minutes. By the way, for the point system, pretty much is going to be 1 coin equals 1 point, and we are going to also be able to have a point system for kills as well, which is going to be including bots and real players. It's going to be 5,000 points. So that's something that's definitely going to come into play. We know that there is a lot of bots in this game, and if a team is able to maybe go in, try to stay away from those big fights against actual real players, go in and take the bosses. By the way, one of the bosses, his armor is worth about 120 something K. So if you're able to get that, you are going to be set.
Yeah, and these players, hey, the loot only counts for a successful extraction, and the kills from that player only count for a successful extraction. So we've seen some of these players, Tokyo, Monarch, in the past, I mean, absolutely go nuts on the kill count, but unless they get that extraction, none of those points from that player count. We're adding up all of the points from the extraction value and the kills after a successful extraction for our points total, and the team with the highest total tonight is going to take away the W. And it's exciting because we've also got some things on the line here tonight as well.
We do, and that is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, that money. That's right. And I'm not talking about just the coin. I'm talking about actual real money that these players will be able to win. It's going to be split in between 4 players, and it's a total of $2,000. So they're going to be definitely looking to get that extra loot. And I'm excited to see, man, what kind of different playing styles we're going to be seeing from these players, because I know Metech and his squad, usually they tend to be a very aggressive, in your face role, and we usually kind of tend to expect the same that out of Kiwi. But now Kiwi's not here. I'm honestly not familiar with Rion as much, but I know how Monarch and Trash play as well. So I want to see what the dynamic, how the chemistry is going to be shaping up in the first 2 games, because after that I think they'll figure out their playing styles between a lot of these players that haven't played with each other. And I think that's when we'll actually start seeing a bit more of a crazier competition, a bit more of a closer competition.
Yeah, and to speak to Monarch and Trashy, these guys are all about map knowledge. I expect to see these guys iterate a route through this map game after game that they know works. We've seen them do that on Armory in previous competitions. And then I'm interested to see how aggressive they start with these games. I mean, this is an aggressive map, period, but there's absolutely an option to take this a little bit more slowly and almost guarantee the extraction versus go hard, go after the kills, go after that player loot. And this is a winner-take-all prize pool format. So I'm interested to see how these players make that decision tonight.
I mean, usually we're kind of used to like 30-minute timers, right? Now this one's going to be 20 minutes. It's going to be a lot tighter. You mentioned it earlier too. If you're able to get a quick extract in the first match, I mean, maybe a 5-minute extract, which, I mean, you would have to just get super insanely lucky. I'm interested to see if they're going to be like, okay, you know what, 20 minutes, let's just focus on one match. Let's not focus on trying to get multiple matches under a belt.
Yeah, absolutely. This game is about that decision making, and so we'll look to see what that decision is for these teams tonight. Now, we do have CD keys coming up. These are in-game redemption codes, so make sure you get the game open. Here are our first keys. We have 40 keys coming at you tonight. Get yourself that loot, get the ammo, the armor, get it from that bundle for free, but you gotta be quick. They are one-use codes.
Mod, I have a question for you. Am I able to get these keys? Because boy, I got the game open.
Listen, man, I always have the game open, and I'll tell you, watch the chat because these keys go so fast, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
I'd be amazed if any of these 10 are left right now, and so we've got 30 more coming at you for the rest of the evening, some after in between these games, so make sure you stay tuned here and give yourself a chance at those free bundles.
I got the first number ready. All right, that was my lucky guess. I figured that the first number was going to be 7. I got lucky in that one, and then after that, I tried to actually input 1, and yeah, everything's pretty much gone. So congratulations to anybody who actually ended up winning that. If you did end up winning that, and you're watching on YouTube, please let us know. I'll be happy to give you a shout out as we have done in the past, because I kind of enjoy seeing what the chat usually says with some of these playing styles, with what they're expecting. We got some backseat gamers as well, as we usually tend to have. And I can't wait to see, man. I'm excited for TV Station. I'm excited how the teams are going to be managing, especially the bosses, and how they're going to be engaging within the fights. Are they going to be backing away from the bosses, or are they going to be using them as a bit of bait? Because, I mean, if you can get a boss to focus on you and just make a lot of noise, some of the other players might be attracted to that, and you might be able to set up a nice trap where it's going to be some easy eliminations for you.
Yeah, I think there might be some magic in the opportunity to third party a boss fight. You know, if the teams are presented with that kind of opportunity, I don't think they'll be able to back away. Now, we are going to get into an interview with our team captains here. We've got Rion, we've got Mitek, and I want to see if we can pry out of them some of the plan for tonight, see how players are arming themselves, what guns they're choosing, and what some of those tactics might be for this evening. So we're going to cut into the interview as soon as we've got these players in here. And I'd like to see in the chat, you know, do you think that the PUBG Mobile pros with that experience, Team Mitek, are they going to take the win tonight? Or is Rion with Monarch on the team, is Monarch going to lead the Team Rion to victory and really take the streak for the most number of Golden Lions Legion events in a row? Heavy competition, but I'd like to see from the chat who you think is going to take this evening.
I was going to tell you my pick, but you know what? That might make me a little bit biased. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hold on to that one until the end. That way, when the team that wins, I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's the team. Remember back at the start of the actual stream where I said I had a team? That's the team that I thought was going to win. That's what I'm going to be doing. Now, in regards to guns, I will be excited to see some of the new guns coming into play, and I'm going to be looking at people maybe using the AUG. I got a chance to use the AUG, and boy, it is a laser beam for the first maybe 10 bullets, and I don't know if it's just me with my potato aim, because after those 10 bullets, I could not control them recoil, but I'm telling you, the first 10 bullets are on point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm interested to see also how many of these players depart their previous loadouts that they have so many hours in the game with, right? The FAL has been a leading gun in any of these competitive matches, and a lot of people might not want to depart from that gun that they know so well. So we will see what those decisions are tonight, and we're going to jump into the interview with our team captains. Rion is leading a team full of well-known English American AB Arena Breakout tryhards. These guys are the super squad. And then we have Mitek, who has a team of well-known, highly skilled, deeply experienced PUBG Mobile players. So it's a great matchup. Let's see what these team captains have to say.
It is going to be, as we take a quick look there at the TV station rivals, that is happening today. English versus Espanol. And that's, I don't want to pick it just yet, okay? I do want to figure out which guns these teams are going to be using right off the bat. I think that has to be the first question, because they're not going to be giving out any tactics.
Yeah. Gentlemen, welcome. We have Rion and Mitek here in the interview, and we want to find out from these guys a little bit about the strategy and the plan. We see Mitek warming up in game already, ready to go for tonight's game. Rion, stepping in last minute, how do you feel with your teammates? How much time do you have with these guys in game so far?
My team is very good. I have good players. Hopefully we will win.
Right on. Well, hopefully we'll have to win and see what's going to happen. 5 segments of 20 minutes, anything can happen. And you know what, I want to talk to Mitek. Mitek, how are you feeling going into this tournament? Are you looking to redeem yourself from last tournament?
Me siento con bastante
¿Quieres que te
confianza.
traduzca?
Sí, obviamente. Me siento con bastante confianza en mi equipo. Llevo actualmente 2 jugadores en este torneo que son de mi team. El otro jugador es Alucard, con el cual participamos en el torneo anterior y lo hicimos bastante bien. Nos quedamos sin nada de poder ganar. Y nada, ahora se viene el mapa TV Station y vamos con mucha confianza de poder llevarnos este torneo.
Right on. Let me rewind that back. Okay, I'm going to be like one of those UFC translator. Pretty much what he said was that he's very excited and he's actually feeling very confident in regards to this tournament, because he does have 2 players from his clan that he plays with a lot. They do have the 4th player in Alucard. They have gotten a chance to play with him in the past, and they actually were able to perform pretty well. So they're looking to continue onto that here on this tournament.
Yeah, let's see if we see a redemption for Mitek.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask the question. We'll see if they let us know. Rion, what gun will you be playing with tonight? Is it one of the new weapons, or are we going with a classic?
I'm going to play with H4. I love this gun.
H4 is clearly one of the top 3 played with guns in this game. And so we've got one player at least sticking with the classic, one that he's clearly got a lot of experience with. Mitek, what about you? What gun are you playing with for this evening?
H4-16, the same weapon.
Ooh, okay. All right.
H4.
Is it going to be short barrel? It better be short barrel.
Yes.
¿Qué le vas a poner?
Mira de punto.
All right, gentlemen. Oh.
¿Te refieres a eso, no?
All right. No, básicamente que le vas a colocar el short barrel o el largo. Pero es corto, el corto.
Ah, no, cañón corto para tener buena ergonomía, ya que es un mapa muy cerrado, son peleas de cerca. Y pues me llevo esa arma, ya que generalmente no hay mucho tier 6 como en armería. Hay gente que va un poco más tier 3, tier 4, entonces con las balas que tiene el H4 da para hacer bastante daño.
See, that's the answer I was trying to get in. Don't worry, for everybody in the chat saying English, I'll translate it for you. I got you, baby. Okay, pretty much what he said was that he was going to be using the short barrel H4 because of how close range the fights are going to be. And on top of that, there's not a lot of people that are going to be running tier 6 like he's used to seeing in Armory. There's a little bit more of tier 5, tier 4, and the bullets that are currently the H4 has, whether it's the A1 or the 995, that should be plenty to be able to do the trick and win a gunfight.
Yeah, well, gentlemen, thanks for the insights, and we are looking forward to seeing you get onto TV station and get into the action. So we're going to let you go and prep that loadout, prep the armor and the weapons for the first match, and excited to see it. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Suerte.
Thanks.
All right. I'm not surprised, Mod. I'm not surprised at all that they're going to be going with the H4. I got a chance to test it out, and I feel like the H4 is the right call. The foul might be a little bit too overpowered, but if they do end up running into tier 6, I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we actually see those teams make the quick switch of saying, you know what, for the next segment of 20 minutes, let's run something a little bit more heavy, maybe have one player run a foul just to have that extra firepower with the M61 to back it up and win those fights.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when I heard people going with some of the classic weapons that they've been playing with for months, and I expect to see a little bit of a mix-up with each team. You know, we'll see players that might pull out the AUG and or just be running submachine guns with dum-dum ammo to troll all evening. So we'll have to see. But I think we'll have a mix.
Please don't do that.
We've seen some wild things in these Golden Lions Legion events, all right? We've seen guys GA snipers only when that wasn't even in the rule set before, just to make it more difficult on themselves. So you never know what you're going to get from these teams. But one thing I am sure of is that this is going to be highly competitive, because TV Station is a map for action. We've got a great rule set tonight, and these players are going after $2,000. Every individual in the game's playing for $500. So these guys are absolutely motivated this evening.
Yeah, and with what we're talking about earlier in regards to the competition, right, and in regards to tactics, what the teams are going to be doing, I'm intrigued to see if a team is maybe going to focus a little bit more on those gunfights, on those PvP, and if maybe another team is going to focus a little bit more on looting, because of what, from my experience and what I got a chance to see out of a lot of the streams from earlier today that I was watching, the loot is a bit hit and miss, and also the keys cost quite a lot as well. There was a key at one point when the map first came out. let me tell you something, Mod. Your boy definitely got scammed, okay? Because I bought a key that was 900k coin, and within an hour, that thing was at you want to take a guess? I'll let you guess.
I would expect gone. I'm interested in whether or not you got your money back, and based on the tone, the answer is clearly not.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering if they're going to be focusing on that PvP or if they're going to be focusing on both. I mean, we know that sometimes these teams like to split, right? They like to do a 2-2 split, whether it's two players, or if they are confident enough with themselves and they're confident enough with the chemistry within those two, they're going to be able to split, explore the map a lot more, and with only 20-minute segments, they're going to be able to just cover so much more area. But then that can also backfire, because if you're walking into a trap, and boy, let me tell you, there's so many corners in TV Station where people can definitely set up a trap where you need to check every corner possible, because if not, you are going to get sent back to the lobby.
Yeah, and with TV Station being indoors, multiple floors, right? It's a small map, but there's still big opportunity, like you said, for that 2-2 split. And that is the most aggressive approach to this. I expect to see these guys with absolutely full keychains. We typically see that in most of these events, because you're not always going to get that tier 6 team that you're able to knock out on a 4v4 and bring back big loot, right? So I expect to see those keys, but you knock out a team of 4, that is guaranteed loot value every time. Even if they're tier 4, those bullets have so much value, that they're going to be going after some of these PvP gunfights. I expect to see the boss get downed more than one time this evening. We might see 10 boss deaths because of that guaranteed loot value as well. So it should be a pretty even mix, but there are not going to be any remaining bots on the map after each of these games, because that 5,000 coin for bot kills, that stacks up. It adds up a lot, especially when you expect to see some of these players historically getting 20 plus kills a game very consistently.
Yeah, the thing with what you're talking about the bots, right? The main thing about TV Station as well is the ammo that the bots are going to be carrying. I mean, they were carrying A1, they were also carrying M80. So even if you are able to get the kill on a bot, just take the extra time, obviously, after you clear the area. Take the extra time to get that ammo, because it's going to rank up. I mean, I was able to exit with at least 200k coin in just A1 ammo, I was an absolute loot goblin, okay? Yes, charge.
Hey, ammo is the favorite when you're playing Tetris in your bags, trying to get the maximum value per square in that backpack. And ammo can be huge value with that 200 to 400 coin per bullet and those stacks of 60 in the backpack. So I think it's an absolutely viable tactic to kill every bot, every guard on the map, and always be looting that ammo. But that definitely takes time, right? Taking those bullets out of the magazines. You know, we do have teams of 4, so there's the ability to really spread on the map and have those assignments and get it done. But we'll see what happens. We're gonna jump into game 1, round 1 on TV station with both of our teams now.
Yeah, and you were talking about it takes extra time to take out that ammo. Well, guess what? They need to make sure to clear that area, because with certain situations and certain areas within this map, they're definitely going to be having a lot of clear open areas. And if they are out in the open looting, somebody else might be able to come in and just take that quick little knock, and then you're now down a player. And that's something that you don't want to see when you currently only have about 19 minutes left of the first segment of the first match.
Yeah, and here we have Rion's perspective, and these guys are clearing the rooms just like you said, making sure every single corner is clear. And we see him face to face with 2 bots right now. These guys having to really maneuver to be able to get those kills. We talked about it before, and you said it. Those bots are absolutely dangerous.
That was actually real players right there. And I actually love what Rion, and I want to give him some compliment here, because he was able to spot him right away. He decided to go to the left, go around them in case his teammates weren't able to get him. So the angles right there from Rion right off the bat, I'm already enjoying what I'm seeing out of this team, being able to work together. You can actually see that they are working within that 2-2 split that we talked about earlier. And if I'm Rion right now, I'm going to keep track of where those players are, because I saw that tier 5. If for some reason I'm not able to find good loot, if my teammates aren't able to find good loot, I'm going to go back and try to get as much coin as possible. I know he currently has a tier 6, but hear me out. $500 into my pocket, $2,000 total. I wouldn't mind switching out that armor and get that extra coin.
Absolutely. I called it wrong, and we got real players down, 2 of them right there, like you said, and that's huge for Team Rion here, because that guaranteed loot, that tier 5 is high value. We see him picking up all the ammo right now, and immediately after they down that duo, you saw the other 3 players fan out and gain some security, gain some space, so that Rion now can go through and loot all high value items with a little bit of confidence that he's not going to get beamed around a corner by an opposing player. So the team providing security, Rion able to pick up that H4 valuable ammo, potentially this level 5 armor, and a huge win for them early, putting them up in the loot expectedly early on in round 1.
And I love the knowledge right there of the game from Rion. He realizes that if he takes out that mag from the AK, it's just going to become a one-line weapon. He's able to put that in his pocket. He's able to put that in the backpack, by the way, that he was able to get from the other player as well, and equip that H4. And those H4s are very, very expensive. So we were talking about teams maybe getting a little bit lucky within the loot, within the first engagements. Right now, this team is looking good. And now we can see a player getting knocked right there. 2 players getting absolutely destroyed. It is not looking good. We went from being such a high there for Rion to now them having to defend, and now they know exactly where they're currently at.
Deaths early on. Deaths early in this game is a huge setback, but Rion right now, with the patience and the discipline, he did see 1 or 2 potentially of his teammates go down there in the doorway, and he's avoiding these grenades as he's being pushed by what looks like a team of at least 2 or 3 players, and he's waiting here. He wants this cover, but we're going to see if he has the patience to hold out and catch these guys unaware.
And Mod, I think he might be the only last player from his team. I'm not seeing anybody else near him. You can see the bodies just stacking there. He's currently grenading and doing all that stuff, and you can see him just being a little bit more proactive, watching his back too, making sure that another team isn't going to be third-partying, because you know they're going to be hearing all this noise. You know what's going to be happening. He's wanting the action. He's wanting to see if we can maybe get into this fight. And he also hears somebody downstairs. Could be bot. You never really know what's going to be happening. He needs to be careful here, maybe overexposing a little bit too much. If I'm him, what I would try to do right now is just try to back off from this fight, which is going to be quite hard, and try to take that elevator exit. It is going to wait about 15 minutes until 15 seconds until the elevator opens up. But then Once it opens up, he has to wait about 3 minutes within that elevator. So if this is the play right here with 50 minutes left, that might be what they need to do to get a chance of maybe running a second game with the full squad again.
Yeah, they got a loot opportunity early. They need a reset with 3 players down. And here we see Mitek goes down, it looks like, as soon as we cut to his screen.
I think that was Rion.
That was Rion. Oh, it is. You're right. We cut over to Rion. He goes down, and then we're back to Mitek safe and sound. And Team Rion, all 4 players downed and out, killed in game 1. A full reset for them as Mitek has all 4 players from his team alive and well, clearing these rooms with the 2v2 split.
And that's pretty much Arena Breakout there for you. You can have your very highs and also your very lows all within just 1 minute there of each other. You can see Tokyo right there trying to get some shots on somebody else. We weren't able to see him, but one of his players is currently knocked. They're currently trying to see if they can be able to help him out, and I think they are. The knowledge of this player, being able to lay down the smoke, being able to throw a lot of stuff. You got to keep an eye out there from the second floor as well. This is a bad spot for Mitek's team, and they need to back off. If not, they might end up with the same fate as Rion.
Yeah, absolutely a grenade trap right there. And these guys demonstrating near perfect tactics as they smoke the player being revived and provide suppressive fire for him to those enemies that are potentially on the high ground there. So they give themselves all the concealment they need, and that is how they're able to potentially successfully get this revive done here. And they're pulling security. They've got that teammate that have slowed their progress, but brilliant tactics on display from Team Mitek, and it looks like we see why all 4 of these guys are still up right now.
Yeah, being able to recover, you see them being able to spread out, have other people hold different angles as well. And if we go back a little bit, I know we're currently watching Mitek, but I kind of want to talk about what happened there with Rion. We saw them being able to win that fight so fast and then just end up getting third party. Rion didn't even have enough time to back off and try to go for the exit. At this point, 13 minutes left, right? It's going to come down how fast can they actually recover each other. Can they go back to the lobby, set up, get all their loadouts, and get back into the game, and then try to make a quick exit, because now the pressure is on them of not ending up with a big old 0, a big old donut after the first segment.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is a small map. They have an opportunity, but there is that extraction timer like you mentioned before. So it'd have to be a quick round. And realistically, it doesn't seem like Mitek's going to have a ton of opportunity for a second game here. So they're still in it, but a huge setback having to rush in their reset game. These guys clearing corners right now in game, and near perfect security as they've really locked down this section here on TV station. But yeah, we're talking about Rion and the rest of his team. They clearly had a pretty aggressive approach there, and were aggressively third-partied as well.
And Ma, look what they were able to do right there. Before Mitek was able to start looting this player, they make sure that all their corners were secure, all the off angles were secure, and now he's currently going for that loot. MA55, I mean, honestly, at this point, take whatever you can take, because any loot is going to go towards you, and it's going to go big towards you, considering that the other team is currently down and are going to be on a time crunch. And right now, from Mitek, it's going to be looking like they are going to be looking just to play this one match. I wonder at what stage they're going to be focusing to try to clear the lobby, which is easier said than done. And then maybe focus a little bit more on the bots, try to get that extra loot, try to go into the rooms and get those extra valuable items, because anything can change it here. We have seen it in the past where it comes down to the last game, maybe a team being able to get a golden line, and it completely changes everything.
Yeah, and while we've only looked at Mitek and Tokyo's perspective, we haven't seen a ton of key usage until now. So it looks like they're just making the transition now from having cleared the majority of this section of TV station. We do see some footsteps indicators, but they're running around with a little bit more freedom of movement right now. So they've cleared this section and are starting to kind of check some of the rooms. But with this map, you never know what's around the next corner. So we see them stand together, moving with security and kind of bounding through these hallways to make sure that they mitigate their risk. And there it is. He runs into what looks like a bot there and handling this pretty easily.
Yeah, and you can see the confidence. I mean, you mentioned it as well. The confidence that Mitek and his squad is currently running through. Mitek was able to talk earlier in regards to how he had 2 teammates from his clan on this current tournament, and that's just gonna give him extra confidence boost, and we can see that perfectly as he's just it doesn't mind anything. He's just going for it. He knows his perfect location. He knows what he's gonna be doing, and they're just executing it really well. And right now, I mean, even those bot kills, you mentioned it too, it's gonna be 5k points going towards their talent. If you're able to get them, if you're able to secure them, go for it, because right now 10 minutes left. We don't know if Rion's team is already back into the game, if they're still setting up, but that time is getting lower and lower, and I'm getting a little bit worried. Not gonna lie, I'm getting a little bit worried there for Rion's team.
Yeah, they've got quite a bit to come back from now, because you know, I think you put your finger right on it there. We've got a team that is experienced playing together, right? They're experienced at communicating with each other, and the call outs that they use, the way they group themselves, the way they clear corners, they've done this together before. And we had Kiwi drop here at the last minute, and so we've had a substitute. And while Trashy and Monarch have played quite a bit together, Alex has subbed in and played in many of the games with them. Maybe there is a little bit of a coordination difference between these 2 teams, and that may be, you know, early as it is, the one difference we've noticed so far.
I think there is, and that's kind of what I've been hinting at, especially at the beginning of the segment when we're talking about. I feel like we're gonna start seeing how these teams truly are gonna be playing after the first 2 segments, especially in regards to the English team, with you mentioning Kiwi not being able to be here, Rion stepping in as the sub. Maybe give him 2 segments of 20 minutes, and I feel like that team is definitely gonna be up to par, because right now Mitek, it doesn't look like they need 2 segments. They look like they are ready to rock and roll. They look like they are just on full on go, and they're currently being aware of where people are at. I think they might be able to spot some people. They're trying to get this extra elimination, get those extra points, and now it's finding a way to get up there and making sure you actually eliminate them. Finding a way to get up there and make sure if you do eliminate them, get that extra sweet loot, and he's gonna be doing just that as he does go up the stairs.
Yeah, brilliant execution there by throwing the grenade and then relocating, right? You want to, you know, you want to have the enemy looking at where you were, not where you are, and just beams them across the room with, that was a beautiful gunfight. Almost perfect peek, and his opponent had no chance there.
Yeah, he had no chance. He peeked him too. His opponent was able to see him first before Mitek was able to spot him too, and Mitek perfectly predicted this too. That he said there's not that many tier 6 in TV station. There's gonna be a lot of tier 5. There's gonna be a lot of tier 4. And right now, that's exactly what we're seeing out of this team. A lot of dead bodies. They're gonna be looking to clear this area. He's able to spot one. That's gonna be a bot. He's gonna be able to take quick, easy care of him. His teammates are gonna more than likely be moving up, helping him clear this area, making sure that he hides. He ducks, because on that second floor, it definitely gets a little bit scary.
Yeah, and I think some of those gunfights there that we saw just now were Rion's perspective, and we're back with Mitek now. So it looks like Rion is back in the game, and we see Team Mitek continuing to clear. Now on the second floor of TV station, they very systematically moved through this entire map, downing player after player, bot after bot. And so they've got all of the loot options. But Seven, they've got 7 minutes left in this round. So even though they're on the same game they started with, they've been here for 13 minutes, they still have a little bit of a ways to go to get to this extraction. And we're getting into short time now. So even though Rion is further back, both of these teams are under 7 minutes, and they got to be looking at their extraction plan ASAP.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see which extraction they're going to be taking, because I know there's an extraction that after 10 minutes, in the last 10 minutes of the match, then it will end up opening up. But if we go with what we're currently seeing here, they're not even going to be able to try to go for that. So I think they're going to have to go towards elevator. You can see them trying to find those extra bots, trying to find this extra loot, right? I feel like right now it's time to get that extra ammo. M80, as I was talking about, that's going to be coming in clutch for them. Make sure they get all of that. Keep track of that timer. And you are right. Yeah, we got to confuse. Earlier, it was Rion. It's good to see, though, that Rion is back into the game. As Tokyo now end up getting spotted there by a rat, he's going to be finished. So whatever he had, his team is going to have to go back and try to find it for him. That is quite a downturn of events there for Team Mitek. As you mentioned it, we are getting closer to that 0 mark on the timer.
Yeah, with a player down now, it is too late for a second game. So they are working with a max of 3 extracting here, with Team Rion back in the game and looking to be getting kills and moving well. So they may have worked out some of their coordination. And we see Mitek here, a player down, a teammate down. They're going to have to really work to maximize their loot efficiency. But before they do that, they're going to need to deal with this threat, because now they know there is a rat in this building. And Mitek goes down as he searches for the rat. He's taken down with a shot straight through the face mask. And they're down to 2 players left. We might not see an extraction in round 1.
We might not see one, and guess what? Alex ended up getting eliminated here on the second match for Rion's team, and now they're looking to at least being able to secure this extra. A big turn of events here, and that was a little bit worried there what Mitek was doing. Yes, I know you're feeling confident, but pushing by yourself, I don't know how good you are. You are pretty much pushing it into a trap that they were setting up for him, and it worked out perfectly. Not in his favor at all. And now his team is going to be in such a big handicap. We went, Mod, what a crazy turn of events, right? At the beginning, we went from Rion's team getting eliminated to saying, okay, now they're going to have to play catch up, to now we don't even know if Mitek's team's going to be able to finish. As now we see somebody being able to get level 6, and Rion's not going to be able to make it out. Rion gets eliminated as well as he's waiting for the exit.
This is absolutely a roller coaster in round 1 as we see Rion on the extraction point. Extraction point activated, less than 40 seconds remaining to get off the map and leapfrog Team Mitek in some loot value, and he's killed on the extraction. He's got some teammates still in the game though, so they may be able to pull this off, but now we see the 2 remaining players right now, Kennedy and Mitek, or excuse me, Mitek is out. The 2 remaining players, it's Kennedy and Alucard, correct, on this team, as Mitek spectates, frantically looking for an opportunity to get off of this map.
And with what we're seeing there at the exit, they need to be careful, because with 3 minutes that you have to wait there at the elevator, people are gonna know that you're trying to take that exit. People are gonna know that you're waiting there just to exit with all that loot. And boy, has it backfired again for Rion's team. But the thing is, when we got a chance to see Rion's team, I believe they still had 2 players alive. I cannot confirm that, but I believe they actually had 2 players alive. So we'll have to wait and see if that was the case. As we see now, Kennedy being alive. Okay, so it's actually 3 players. If I'm no, it's still 2. It's still 2. Okay. Level 6, I think that's going to be his teammate as well. They only got 3 minutes, Mod. They need to hurry.
Yeah, and the move is to not retrieve your teammates' gear here unless you need their ammo to finish the map, because they do not get loot credit for value for any of the gear that's returned to their teammates. And so I expect, you know, players going down, they're losing a lot of gear value as well. And because these players have to stay and spectate their teammates, they're not allowed to jump out of the lobby and leave and start their reset. The players who've died have to wait for their teammates to get off the map before they can start to reset their gear and reset their weapons. So it's an absolute race in the transition between games. And that's how we see, that's why we see at Tokyo watching Kennedy's perspective here, and then Mitek watching Alucard's perspective as the final remaining duo from this team attempts to get off the map. But unless they have that extraction point activated or find a magical already activated extraction point, I don't think they're going to have that opportunity though. They've got 2 minutes left in this game to be able to get off of this map. So we'll see if this is already activated, but it doesn't look like it is, or at least he hasn't run onto it
just now. And
yeah,
now
so
to just kind of clear things up as well, we are currently on a 2-minute delay. So this, what we're currently watching, the players has happened within 2-minute delays. I'm not quite sure if it's the exact same thing as last time that I was able to do the Golden Rivals. If they are able to exit on this one, I think it will end up counting. Obviously, we will have production being able to confirm that for us. So keep that in mind. But right now, it's looking like they need to make sure they exit. If not, they're not going to be able to. And now we get to see a chance at Monarch's profile, and I'm loving that picture that he's currently using, because that's exactly what TV station has been so far for a lot of these teams and a lot of these players. They've just been getting caught by those rats.
Yeah, Monarch, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. Although I wouldn't say anybody out there is in a you can't beat them status for Monarch. But this dude repping the rats here on TV station, he's alive. which is
3 minutes.
more than we can say for a lot of people right now. And they've got 1 minute remaining. You heard them in their comms say it. So, but yeah, like you mentioned, because these guys are all on a 2-minute delay, they do their best to sync. We do our best to sync everything up, but there is a potential small buffer. And so our production team verifies everything and we get the verified score update at the very end. So some of these teams really both looking for an opportunity to extract. We see Monarch, absolutely a laser in the stairwell there, no problem whatsoever. But with 29 seconds left, without an extraction opportunity right now, we may be looking at a fruitless effort. But right now, less than 90 seconds. And if there is any desync in the overall tracking of this, these guys may be able to count this extraction. So we'll see in our official score breakdown at the end of this round. But 7, we had a roller coaster of a round 1. Absolute ups and downs throughout this with plenty of action as promised.
Yeah, and I'm currently Kennedy. I'm putting myself in Kennedy's shoes. My hands are going to be so sweaty, especially seeing after what happened to Rion, having 2 level 6 just fully pushing you and being able to pretty much just camp your extract. Overall, the main storyline, ladies and gentlemen, for TV station is this guy's right here. That's right. The rats. The rats. They're all over the place, and we've been hinting at it. We've been talking about it. You gotta watch them corners. They're gonna be hunting you. They're just gonna be waiting right there, waiting, setting the cheese trap. And boy, what do you think, Mod, is gonna be the difference here in the second match?
Listen,
after what we just saw.
I got props as well, and I think your prop so far is much more applicable to this event than my prop, because you know I might have the golden lion here on the desk, but we saw none of those in backpacks in round 1. And you know, we talked early about, hey, these teams might need a game or two, a round or two even, to work their coordination out, whereas some might not, right? But with the results after round 1, our focus is changing from maximizing coordination to don't die. Don't die after round 1. So we'll see how these teams improve their security. And shortly here, we'll have an update on the round 1 scores to see what our official breakdown is.
Oh,
that is what I expected, 7. We have donuts all over the board after round 1.
Hear me out. I know I'm hungry and I know I like donuts, but I was not expecting donuts this early on, because that is a big turn of events. And I was trying to be nice too. I was trying to hype it up. Okay, you know what? Maybe it's the delay. Maybe something's going on here. Maybe they will actually go through. And to see a 0 out of both teams, I feel like that is the perfect picture of what we saw in round 1 with what happened, the roller coaster ride, the roller coaster of emotions that we just saw. We're gonna be seeing right here. I mean, Rion being able to spot their 2 players, and then you just see his teammates just lining up perfectly for the other team, getting knocked, getting destroyed, getting sent back to the lobby, and at the end, Mitek as well got a little bit too hyped up, trying to go for a fight by himself, and he ended up backfiring.
Yeah, I mean, these games do not disappoint. In previous Golden Lions Legion events, somebody said, hey, we need to be doing all of these on lockdown zones. These maps are too easy for these elite players. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we may have overcorrected after round 1 as we see iTokyo going down in that last highlight. And that's what round 1 was, is danger around every corner as Mitek went down to the rat. Half of his team taken out by a rat, and nobody getting off of this map in time. And this is the death. The kill first, followed immediately by the death for Rion on the extraction point with an activated extraction. Absolutely brutal. You know, Monarch able to finish out the game with some kills there, but all for naught, as no one is able to get off of the map successfully in time in round 1. And we've got round 2 coming up. But 7, it is looking like a daunting competition so far.
I think Rion's gonna be having some nightmares after this event. He had that scope in, he had the level 6 player knock, he was about to confirm that elimination, and all of a sudden off the corner, another level 6 comes up and say, "What's up, bro?" That's my teammate you're shooting at, and you're truly not able to exit absolutely anywhere. I'm actually, I know this might be a little bit weird to say, but I'm actually excited to see that both teams ended up at a 0 finish after segment 1, because now nobody's having to play catch up. Nobody's having to have a little bit more pressure on their shoulders. It's going to be plain equal field. Now they know what to expect. And now, if you're one of those teams, MeTech, I'm looking at you, that we're saying, okay, you know what? H4 might just do the trick. Is it time? Is it time, Mod, to bring that foul and maybe some N6-1? We know they got the money.
Yeah, you know, I'm interested to see if they bring some more heavy hitters here. And, you know, the dynamic we saw with Rion on that extraction being eliminated goes to show you, like, I have no criticisms of the angle he was holding, of his timing, any of this, but the difficulty of securing an extraction point on TV station. There is plenty of time for anyone from any team to cover the entire map to close with and destroy your team before that timer counts down. We have long extraction timers in a very small map. And so what is absolutely essential for the extraction point security is having what's called overlapping fields of fire, right? 2 guns are better than 1. And what we saw was the drawback of only having a single gun pulling security in a single direction. He downs the first player, but there's never only one of them. And yeah, call it a warm-up round.
Yeah, and the thing too, I mean, from that perspective, from that last death of Rion, is he did have teammates that were alive, but they were just too separated. So what I'm thinking maybe this team might try to adjust is sacrifice somebody else, because we know that extract is going to be hard. We just saw it perfectly, a perfect example of it. It doesn't matter what you try to do with it. You are going to be pretty much a sitting duck once you are inside that little elevator, and you're going to have to be inside that elevator for quite a long time. Maybe have a player be on the lookout. Maybe have a player be, you know what, be one of those rats and have the off angle and wait for somebody else to come in and think, okay, this is going to be an easy elimination. Guess what? Now you got somebody else that's going to surprise you. Now you got somebody else that's going to send you back to the lobby as you're at least going to be able to secure some loot.
Yeah, we may be able to see some no backpack heroes pull in security because of the difficulty of some of these extraction points. But I think we're going to see both of these teams walk the line between being close enough to provide excellent security for each other and being too close so that you line up and give someone an easy 1v4. We will see if they can strike a balance between those two extremes here. And we're hearing gunshots in all directions right now. This looks like Rion's perspective, as there's Monarch, there's Alex, there's Trashy. They're a lot closer, but that makes these grenades a lot more dangerous as they're already in a fight in round 2.
And they need to be careful because we don't want to see a perfect example of what happened in that first round within the same area as well. You saw him, he was looting around and he heard those gunshots. He heard his communication from his teammates and he decided to back off. Interesting choice here as he is currently using a 3.5 scope. I've actually seen a lot of users being able to rock the 2-time, which has been pretty good. And then we jump into MeTech, being able to win a gunfight right away. That's going to be massive for them as well. I love that we get a chance to jump from action to action. And guess what? That man is going to have some amazing loot. And I know that armor's currently at 0, but if I'm MeTech, I'm going to make sure I put that in my backpack, or I'm going to be telling one of my other teammates, hey, you need to come pick this up because that's money that we definitely need, especially after that donut in the first game.
Yeah, absolutely no boring sections with both teams running across the map with no action when the game is on TV station, and MeTech quickly downs that opposing player. So he's going through the loot screen right now, and a lot of usable throwables here because those lethal throwables are huge on TV station. So I expect to see all of these players bringing plenty of those into the map and taking the opportunity to loot at every chance they can. And yeah, you said it, that 0 durability armor still worth 70,000 coin, but that's a tough decision to pick up heavy armor this early in the game and lug that armor around for the rest of the game when the extraction's never a guarantee, as we saw in round 1. So MeTech, his team clearing for him right now and providing some security, but he's got to make sure that they don't get too far away, too spread out as we jump back with Team Rion in a fight.
Rion currently being able to take on bots, and you nailed it on the head there. Metech decides to just wait. You know what? I'm not going to be picking up that armor regardless of how much it actually costs for. We see Rion there not being able to hit some shots as he was using the AUG. Hear me out. The AUG is good, but at that range, it might be a little bit too much. And you need to be careful in this spot where Rion is currently at because you are very exposed there from the second floor. A lot of people are going to be able to find a lot of angles, and especially with this bots just taking shots onto you. They're giving out your location, and you need to make sure you move in quickly. We got 60 minutes to work with. He starts getting shot, and ladies and gentlemen, that was not a bot. That was a real player because that cost a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's taking some tough shots as Trashy comes in to cover him while he moves back to heal. He was nearly downed there. A couple more bullets, and that would have been a tough start to round 2, but they're able to recover. They know they've got a gunfight with a team potentially on the first floor from their location, but they back up, and it looks like they're going to rejoin their teammates. Most likely the smart move here, as we saw what happens when you get a little bit too spread out and don't have enough firepower in the gunfight. All 4 of them now maybe a little bunched up, so they got to be careful about grenades here, but they are pushing in to this gunfight, covering windows, covering hallway, and we see them with some serious momentum right now.
And you see Trashy just running through everybody, being able to secure some more kills right there for his team. Hopefully being able to secure some extra loot for his team as well. 50 minutes left on the timer, and I'm not gonna lie, Rion kind of baited me right there. I got a little bit catfished because I thought they were gonna be going for the extra and at least secure some kind of loot, some kind of coin and points towards their team, but they were like, no, we still got plenty of time. You know what? We know what happened earlier. We're gonna adjust to it, and we're gonna make sure we come out on top as Tokyo being able to find a solid cane right there. That is gonna be massive for his team.
Some decent loot value from a random drawer, it looked like. Maybe that was a safe, but either way, we have not seen any map looting produce real value up to this point. So first here in round 2, and what we just saw from Rion's team is a perfect example of how to maximize your momentum in the gunfight in this game. We talk about that positive momentum, keep the enemy on their heels, and how much that can do for you in a gunfight. And we saw Rion's team leapfrog as 2 players got into the fight, took some damage and dealt some damage, pulled back or stayed in place to heal, while their other 2 teammates leapfrog over nice and fresh with full mags and keep the pressure on. That momentum is huge, but he's got 3 bots there and he downs all 3. Perfect shots needed as he took plenty of damage himself in that that quick bot fight. 15K right on the board if they can get this extraction.
Am I seeing this right real quick, Mod? Let me just okay, I had to put on my glasses. Yeah, that is a foul. Okay, we have seen a bit of a switch here from Metech's team. Those H4s have gone bye-bye, and at least Tokyo now being able to rock that foul, being able to have that extra power for them. I'm actually intrigued to see what the other players are going to be running. I didn't get a chance to see earlier what Metech had going on with him. But good to see that they are now deciding to just, be a little bit safer, make sure they have that extra power to win those fights, and they're going to be running that M61. I mean, Kennedy alone, I feel like we got to give him a bit of a shout out because that man has a storage value over 200 million coin. He just calls me broke in so many ways.
Yeah, these players have plenty of loot, and so opting for some heavier hitting ammo, that M61, and it's coming in handy early on in round 2 as he downed those guys in one quick burst, and then we see a gunfight across the way, clearing through this open area is super dangerous as they've got footsteps on the high ground in all directions right now, and taking a little bit of risk. Metech here pushing his team now caught up, and as they navigate this choke point here on the stairwell.
And he was actually able to get a real player right there, as in now they're going to have to back off. You hear all those gunshots. Those are not based towards him. They're going to be trying to wrap around now, trying to find a different angle, and that's exactly what they're currently doing. They need to be careful, though. Those grenades, make sure you hit them where they're supposed to be. If they bounce back, they can definitely backfire for your team with what you've been mentioning, them being so close. Them being just so close together, a grenade could just hinder their push right here. Metech fixing up the arm now, trying to get back to full heal. He's got that 995. Metech still sticking with the H4. Okay, I like to see the variety there within the team. They know that they're gonna have a full team here up ahead when they go up to that second floor. How are they gonna breach this? It's only 11 minutes left. They need to make sure they win this fight, Mod, because if not, it's gonna be looking like another donut for this team if they don't win it.
Yeah, we are into the
por fuera,
zone
salen
where
ahí.
time is absolutely
escalera, muchacho.
ratcheting up the risk.
Por donde
Now we
estaba
see the
Salte.
team spread out a little bit, looking like they're trying to get angles and maybe an opportunity for a flank as we've got smoke on the top of this stairwell. But Mitek kind of stuck in this position unless he wants to give that team extra space. So they're trying to set up this gunfight, but it looks like they're having a little bit of trouble closing the distance and posing a threat to this enemy team.
And here comes the push there from Mitek's team now, being able to clear through that smoke. He's able to hear some footsteps. Is that going to be actual real players? They were able to secure the kill right there. That is going to be a helicopter helmet as well. That's going to be some extra loot for them. They need to be careful. He's able to spot one more. He's going to be calling that out for his team. Are they going to be looking for this push? It is going to be a risky one. You know what? Let's nade it. Let's play it safe. And let's make sure we do this as a team because they don't want to have to reset again. Here comes the push from Mitek. Now they're getting shot from the back. They're not sure. A lot of miscommunication here. And this is what happens with Stevie Station and all the angles that this map provides. You don't know which fight you need to take. You don't know what's going to be happening because as they were trying to push that fight, guess what? They started getting shot from behind too. And they popped the brakes real fast on that.
And we said early on, this is going to come down to decision making, and it looks like we're seeing them learn some lessons from round one as the team stays much closer together, backs up out of a tough situation where they don't think they have a good angle on the enemy, and they're looking for a better opportunity to close the distance and push here.
I like this. I like this out of Rion's team, and I like that Trashy is currently going to be sitting outside, making sure he keeps an eye out on his team. I'm actually enjoying this. They're looking to secure some extra loot, at least put themselves on the board, but I'm not sure if what they have is going to be enough. Mod, I'm a little bit worried because with just 10 minutes left, it's going to be hard for them to be able to get into another match, set themselves up, and then try to extract within time, knowing that this extract takes at least 3 minutes to be able to actually fully exit.
Yeah, and unless we missed a high value loot item, I think you're right about that. I think they've got some, relatively mediocre loot. We see a little bit of value in there, but nothing crazy, right? And so they're going to get points on the board, though, with a successful extraction here. And up to this point, that will be a first in the competition. So it looks like they're pretty secure as well. We don't see grenades coming in. We don't hear a lot of gunfire. It looks like we got all 4 players on the extraction point now, picking up those last couple of backpacks as we're down to the final 10 seconds. And we have what looks to be our first successful extraction. All 4 players on the elevator. A big success for Team Rion, and we will see some of the info. We'll get a little sneak peek at the number of kills and maybe the total loot value, but we've got points on the board in round 2 for the first time so far.
Ooh, hear me out. 261. Honestly, that is not bad at all. At least now you are going to be within the leaderboard, but now it becomes a time limit thing. If they are going to be able to get back in, I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult for them, but I'm sure they're still going to be able to try and go for it. Mid-Tech's team right now still looting. They're going to be looking for that extra ammo. If I'm not mistaken, this bot should be able to have at least some A1. He's not going to take the extra time to take it out of the mag. He's going to put that in his backpack. And if I'm Mid-Tech, I'm going to try to remember where I killed that first player at the beginning of the match, and I am going to try to go for that armor because that is just going to secure you a lot of money, considering that we just saw one of the players from actually we just saw Rion exit with 261k coin. If you can secure a 75k item, that's just going to be perfect for you.
Yeah, and while the kills count, bot kills and player kills count for 5,000 coin, there's a porcelain right there. There's a porcelain for Mid-Tech. He is closing the gap with that loot. That's our first big item that we've seen. But with those kills at 5,000 points each, a 20 kill game, which is a heck of a game, is only 100,000 point value. And so one loot item can exceed a fantastic game of kills. And so, yeah, I think it's absolutely essential that they remember where those players are with the high loot value, even if it's that heavy 0 durability vest. That 70,000 is huge value, especially now that they know they have a porcelain on board.
It is, and we're seeing here the pretty much them trying to finish off this match, trying to go through everything, make sure they loot all the bots, make sure they get that extra loot. I'm starting to get a little bit worried, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried because of how separated this team is. Whether they know already that they cleared the map, they need to be careful, because we saw what happened earlier exactly with this team. As he's able to get another film there for Mitek, massive loot there in the center of TV station. They need to watch out for those rats. They need to make sure they don't get a little bit too confident, because it can definitely backfire. We saw it in round 1. It could happen here in round 2. I'm not saying that I want it to happen, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody watching, okay? I'm not trying to jinx them. My hands are sweaty. I don't know what to do. In this moment, I would just try to exit as soon as possible, and Mitek saw that bot, and guess what? He's going to try to go for that confirmed kill, because that is going to be extra point for his team.
Yeah, he's taking a little bit of damage here, and he's pushing this bot pretty aggressively. He takes the hip fire, takes a little bit of damage. He's wounded, but with the broken leg, he's got painkillers, as long as that doesn't overextend, because you're exactly right. There could be a rat in a corner anywhere here on TV station, and these guys cannot get complacent with the threat that this map poses. I mean, if you're spread to the 4 winds, even though it's a small map, and you get something crazy like a large group bot respawn or a team you didn't know was there, it can ruin the entire game for this team, as we are down under 6 minutes with the extraction timers. These guys are clearly going for 1 game per round, and when you limit yourself to that, you have to guarantee that extraction. So I expect to see them. There it goes.
There you go.
Extraction activation, and now they are moving to get out of there with a little bit of a time buffer. So unlike last round, they're able to get that extraction activated early enough to kind of guarantee that as long as they're secure, they'll be able to get off of this map. But that security is a tough thing to guarantee, as we saw in round 1.
Now it comes down to a big question of if they are going to be able to exit successfully too, and if they were able to pick up that extra armor, pick up that extra loot from the beginning of the match. Interesting playing style here by them. I'm enjoying them. I'm glad that they decided to take the extra time in the match, use all the time available for them. I will stick to what I said earlier, though. I was a little bit worried that they were getting a little bit too separate, but I feel like that's just the confidence that this team plays with. They cannot play any other way possible, and they are looking to make this exit. You can see them currently just looting at everything, making sure that they pick up everything that they were able to keep an eye on, and making sure that they go back and just double check everything, whether it's loot, whatever the case might be. Pick up everything possible and make sure you make this exit.
Yeah, and you know, one of the reasons why we do this Golden Lions Legion series is so you can see the most effective tactics in the game right now by some of these world-class players. And if you notice what they've got going on here with the loot, they collect all of their backpacks, they fill those backpacks, they put them down on the ground, and they sort through that stuff together. So it's not just an individual team member optimizing his space utilization within the bag. They do that as a collective team, something that you see at these high levels very consistently, especially when loot is such a big factor in the scoring in this format. So that's what we're seeing right now, the most effective tactics. And we're about to get a little preview here on what this loot value is, as they also get the first successful extraction for Team Mitek.
With 3 minutes left as well, and as we were looking there at that exit, he's going to be able to exit with 444,000 coins. That is going to be massive for this team. As we go back to Tokyo being able to exit as well, 182 massive wins for this team. You can see them being able to also get kills, which is going to be adding to their total tally. Finally, we are going to be having some scores, and boy, I cannot wait to see those totals, because from what I'm seeing right now, it's going to be looking good. We didn't get a chance to see what other players from Rion's team ended up getting, but I would be surprised if it's anywhere close to this team with how quickly they were able to exit that match.
Yeah, going back to decision making, it looks like the more deliberate clear of the map is going to, is maybe going to bring them some success here. And so, with all of that going on in round 2, we don't really have the ability to predict, especially what this score might be. We didn't see enough information, but I've got a feeling that Mitek's going to come out on top with more time to loot that map. Both teams getting 1 successful extraction with all 4 team members, and Mitek coming away big, over 400,000 coin in a little bit of a slower, a little bit more deliberate map clear than the other team.
I love this event, man. I love this event not only because I am casting with you, Mod6, but also because of the intensity. I have to agree with what T-Max is saying in the chat. This event is so intense, and for Arena Breakout, for whoever sets up this tournament, I want to let you know, please keep on running this lockdown maps, because that's when you actually get to see the skill, the knowledge, how these players actually end up playing and not just running through all the newbies that are usually on the not lockdown maps, because this is just so intense, man. Honestly, if you were to shake my hand, they are so sweaty, especially when Mitek's team was so split. I was like, please don't run into a rat. Please not again. Don't do it.
Well, thankfully, I think it was a brilliant call to put 2 10-minute breaks in this event, because after those 2 rounds with that much action, I mean, these guys are going to have to take a breath here, reset, and figure out what they're going to do going into round 3. And, you know, every single time that the chat has asked for something that they want to see in this Golden Lions Legion series, every time the chat has asked for it, the production team and Arena Breakout have answered. Initially, they said, hey, we don't just want to see loot-only scoring. We want to see kill scoring. We had multiple weeks with kill score-based games. And then they say, hey, we want to see combo scoring where everything matters, where that's what we've got today. They say we want to see updated maps. We want to see lockdown zone. Everything that the chat has asked for. The game, Arena Breakout, the production team has brought us that format. So be vocal in the chat. Tell us what you want to see as these world-class players compete. We're going to look at the breakdown here for round 2 and 7. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. This has been tense so far, and I honestly don't know who's going to be ahead here.
Okay, well, let's see. Come on. What's it going to be? Oh,
surprisingly close. I mean, our inclination was correct with Mitek taking a little bit more time, pulling a little bit more loot. Also, 28 kills. That matters, right? A little bit more than a 300,000 coin differential.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's definitely going to be able to come into play there. But honestly, I'm very surprised at Orion's team with what they were able to do in such a limited time for them to be able to exit with that much cash. Now, for this team, being able to have one of the exits under their belt, an early exit, matter of fact, I'm going to be looking at them towards the 3rd round. Are they going to also try to go maybe for possibly a quicker exit if they do get that loot, try to reset, and then go for another quick exit? Because right now it showcases 900k coin in about 10 minutes played that I think it was. That's not a bad sign. And for Mitek, a little bit more of a readjustment from there. Even though 1.2 mil is good, what can they do to maximize those profits if they are going to be just sticking to one match per segment?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of these highlights, but I think you nailed it. Rion's got a decision to make, and round 2 was the round that they decide, you know, do we go for 2 game rounds or do we stick to 1? And in round 3, we will find out what they've decided. But here we saw them, both teams really working aggressively to clear these bots early in the game and having some good success, but getting into fight with some TAC Ops teams there and taking some damage early on.
Yeah, and man, I am just so happy that there was no donuts in this round, that everybody was at least able to get on the board, that everybody was able to adjust as well of what we saw in the first round. And it speaks of the quality of these players right there. That was a scary moment for Mitek as he had to back off as the shots started coming in. And there you go. I actually got a chance to see right there the timer of how much they took within that match. It was 10 minutes, a very, very fast match. But I feel like this looting session right here out of Mitek was what was able to clutch it up for them. What was able to give them that extra oomph and currently be in first place.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more time spent on the map for Mitek, and it paid off as he found some key items, that porcelain being the first big one that we've seen come off of this map. And Mitek now ahead over 300,000 coin, but as we all know, that is one item in this game. Now, we have our next set of CD keys. I promised you we'd bring you more, and we're bringing you more. So open the game up and get to that events tab so that you can pull one of these 10 keys, get that level 4 ammo, get into the game. You see, we are pulling some value off of TV Station right now with both of these teams right around 1 million coin after one successful extraction.
I'm looking forward, and I'm kind of hoping right? By the way, that key right there, 7SZW2J997. Don't get that one. That one's mine. But I'm looking to see what these teams are going to be doing here. The adjustments that we've been seeing out of them, I'm really happy to see that. I feel like, and this is kind of why I want to see a little bit more lockdown, because we get to see adjustments. We get to see what these players are actually made out of and how they can adjust on the fly as well. Usually, a lot of players can't adjust on the fly. A lot of people say, well, I can do that if they can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is completely different, okay? If you are Mythic or if you are maybe Monarch, they are just in another level, okay? There's levels to this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, our round 3 will be kind of the solidifying of these teams' tactic. Yes. I think it's clear Metech's team has found the tactic that they want to use. We saw the same thing in round 2 as in round 1, but with a little bit more caution, a little bit more security. And we've seen Rion test out a few things, but it looks like they want to play aggressively, and we'll see if they continue that tactic in round 3. But we're going to cut to a 10-minute break. These players are going to have a chance to refill the water glass, re-gear before we get into round 3. So don't go anywhere. We've got more CD keys coming later, and 3 more high-intensity rounds on TV station. Seven and I will be with you all night. And yeah, we're going to cut to the break. Excited for round 3.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got the job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just empleados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Kimona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
I didn't have much choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here. But food on the table.
Why are you here? Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfden, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
didn't I take you out? We're in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you said there's nobody here.
Mouth stop, boys!
Get to the second floor. The rest follow me.
Off the first floor.
We need reinforcements. Sir, we can't hold any longer.
The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to be immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got the job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just employados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head-to-head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but a pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. That's no ordinary basement.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
We are back, ready for round 3 of one of the most exciting Golden Lions Legion events that I have casted up to this point. And 7, we've got some ups, some downs. We're showcasing the TV station map tonight. If you're just joining us, this is a close one, and we've had more as many deaths as we have successful extractions so far.
Yeah, lots of surprises as we are going to be jumping into game 3. 20 more minutes of full intense action, and boy, we usually get it right off the bat as well. And you were mentioning, I mean, the intensity that we're seeing out of this, it's insane. I'm able to tell, okay, you know what, this team's going to be able to like exit successfully. I don't know what's going to happen until I actually see those teams exit successfully.
Yeah, we're back to Kimona, baby, and the TV station is hot as we jump in with Rion. Early game here for round 3. We see these teams stand pretty close. Monarch engaging some enemy players as Rion just chilling, taking the opposite direction here as they down bots right and left. Ooh, 1 shot, 1 kill from Rion with that headshot as they start round 3 confident.
They are going to be starting confident. I'm going to be looking at seeing what kind of adjustments we are going to be getting from this team. So we already saw some teams being able to get some adjustments. There we go. Mitek now making a push, and I think he might actually be making a push here to an actual real player. Needs to be careful being able to spot one. Gets a headshot right there. There's going to be more coming up the stairs. And he's able to spot him. That is real people. He's going to be calling out to his team. He's going to back off and start healing. Needs to be careful here. Don't want to get early elimination.
As teammates get there just in time to make sure they keep the pressure on and give him the chance to pull back and heal as they start throwing some grenades towards that stairwell. Looks like the first one misses, but the second one goes right down the stairs. And Mitek looping around here to the left, trying to flank this team as he's got his teammates there at the top of the stairs. But it looks like the opposing team has pulled back and they've got more ground to cover than they planned if they want to close this distance.
And this team is just full aggression as we now switch over to Rion, and Rion is currently being knocked. He is currently down. His teammate is around them. They are going to be able to pick him up, and this is massive because that means that they are able to win this fight. A huge turn of events, because considering what happened in the second round, Rion, even though they did get a lot of loot, they are playing catch up to Mitek's team, as Mitek's team just continues to power through this map, continues just to try to power through everybody, impose their skill. And I mean, we're being able to see him because they're pushing so confident, man. That push that we just saw out of Mitek early on, by the way, with him being able to just get the other stair and in a way exposing himself in a big way, that was quite scary for me.
Yeah, I mean, we see excellent gameplay, but frankly, I am shocked at how aggressive these teams have started round 3. After all the adversity that we've seen, it just goes to show you the difference in this professional mindset where these guys can move past a difficult round 1, stay aggressive, stay competitive, and move across this map with the positive momentum so they can stay successful in the gunfight. Coming very close to death there, Rion, and we see from Tokyo's perspective, this team is not slowing down at all as they clear through the middle of TV station.
It's not, and his vest has definitely taken some shots from that fight earlier on. And now we see Mitek being able to get into a fight here with another team. Molotovs are coming out. These are going to be real players. Tokyo's not going to be anywhere near his team as they're now playing close to each other. You need to be careful, though, because sometimes when you're too close to your team, you're either exposing yourself towards nades and also exposing yourself to maybe your gun barrel being able to fold. So not something you want to be able to run into. Kennedy currently at the front and at the ready, making a full push for it here as they are making sure the other team backs off, and this is a scary time. Yes, they're playing aggressive, but they need to be careful because they might be running into a trap. They are able to kill that player and are looking to clear this area. Mitek and his squad are just playing so aggressive right now.
And this is how you know that momentum is everything in the gunfight, as we see both of these teams aggressively pushing into the gunfight, but they're able to. What do we have here? What do we have?
Golden Lion, baby!
Oh, we got a Golden Lion in the backpack for Monarch. He slows down, stays in the storage, and shows off the Golden Lion. He's wearing a medium camping backpack, which is absolutely absurd. But when you got the video camera and the Golden Lion in it, that is the most valuable medium camping backpack I have ever seen. Huge for Team Rion.
It is massive for Team Rion, and if I'm Team Rion right now, I'm looking to make that extract, and I'm looking to make that extract quick. Earlier, I was judging in regards to how quickly they were able to exit, but right now, with this loot and with them being able to win gunfights that we saw there earlier on as well, let's just secure at least that loot, or at least have Monarch get out, because the Golden Lion, it is massive for his team.
There's the plan, and then there's the new plan when there's a Golden Lion in the backpack. So we'll see what these guys decide. Monarch continuing to loot, seemingly no threat, also no space. So unless Monarch finds a different backpack or some additional storage somehow, I think he's going to need to get to that extraction quickly. We'll see if his teammates are empty, because they may be able to reorganize a bit. But with Monarch, that Golden Lion in the backpack, the plan might need to adjust for this team, and a huge opportunity. The gap in the score is less than that single loot item in Monarch's backpack.
Yeah, and if I'm currently Team Metex, you know they're going to be keeping tabs on what's going on there with the other team. They're going to be seeing that Golden Line, and they're just going to continue to just power through this lobby, man. The confidence that this team is currently moving in, the chemistry that they have, the synergy as well out of them is just so impressive. And now that they have been able to hopefully clear the lobby, they need to switch that focus to go into that loot, because now we know those Golden Lines are around. Those Golden Lines are out there for you to be able to pick them up and get them. And boy, they're going to be looking for him, because right now, Rion, his team, Monarch, Trashy, Alex, everybody within that team is just a sigh of relief, being a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen the comments in previous iterations of this Golden Lions Legion about the RNG, especially when we did some of those rounds on regular farm, regular valley. But the fact of the matter is that with the adversity these teams had to play through up, both teams coming out of round one with a donut, they clearly needed a warm-up. But that having, you know, the opportunity to get a Golden Lion Legion in the backpack is great. Sure, there's some luck in that. But on TV station lockdown zone, the extraction is never a guarantee. We've already seen the evidence of that. So the difficulty of this map, the high intensity, small size of this map, really forcing these players to earn that loot value, whether they find the Golden Lion or not.
And Metek's team there being able to loot some of the kills that they were able to get earlier. I did see them being able to look at some tier 5s. They decided to leave the vest there, but those vests, those tier 5 vests, even if they are not new, they're usually worth 60,000 and upwards. So if I'm this team, if I'm just looking to secure that extra loot, I will make sure I keep track of where they are and come back and get them if they're not able to find anything more valuable than that. Or maybe, I know it hurts to say this, Mod, but maybe leave your level 6 behind, switch it with what the other team had, and secure any extra coin to your extra loot value.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where the understanding of the rules is absolutely key for these players, because it's the extraction loot value. It's not the math of what you can sell it for on the market after you repair it. They don't have to pay attention to any of that. And so that's why you've heard us both say up to this point, those 0 durability vests could be a game changer if, you know, you've looted most of the map, you know that there's no threats. Throw that 0 durability vest on and ride the lightning, baby. See if you can make it to the extraction point with no protection just for that loot value. That's the gambit we like to see, but we'll see if any of these players really, you know, have the gall to try and pull that off with the death and the tough gunfight that we've seen so far.
It is, and I think Team Rion is now looking to make sure they exit in time, looking to make sure they secure that amazing loot that they currently have. And it's not only the Golden Lions, as we were able to see there, Rion for a bit, he had an extra H4, so it's not going to be just the Golden Line, it's not going to be just a video camera, it's going to be the extra loot that they got from those early PvP fights, as we do see Mitek now clearing some more bots, trying to get that extra points on his squad, making sure that they look through every single little corner. His backpack is currently looking not as stacked as they would wanted to see, but there is some level 5 helmets, there is some GS2s at the beginning of the season. As soon as it switched, boy, they went up in price. GS2s were going for 10k coin, now they're going for 17k. I should have waited. I'm telling you, man, I should have waited. I sold so many, I could have made big profit.
Yeah, I mean, these guys having no shortage of value in the loot so far in this round, and like you said, those key items where you know it's decent loot value per square, right? That's the math that these guys are doing, is loot value per square, because hey, the GS2 is solid. It's nearly, you know, it's over 4,000 loot value per square, whereas a 0 durability level 4 vest or something like that is going to be far less, even though the item is worth more. Now we see Mitek constantly in some of these gunfights as they clear through, more threats in front of them, and an opportunity to gain more loot now as they down a player. The foul, see if he's got some M61 or ammo, and Mitek finding excellent loot from these kills so far.
Definitely some great loot right there, and I saw that they also have a gas mask as well. They need to make sure they pick up as much stuff as possible, because right now this team, if I'm not mistaken, Rion's team is well over 1 million, if I'm doing the math right. And on top of that, guess what? Monarch with the rat, the loot goblin, he's still looking for that extra loot. He's still looking for that extra cheddar, and he's currently being able to find it.
Yeah, Monarch with the last second looting here, and under 8 minutes to go. Both of these teams have plenty of time to get off of this map, and Rion looking strong for the team right now as we see some decent loot value in Monarch. We know that Golden Lion Legion is there. We see all of these players with big value, and even more value here from Monarch. The GPU, he's got this loot. Look, he's going through every single pocket here, taking the deliberate approach to maximize his value.
Yes, and I love the knowledge there from Monarch. As soon as he saw that 2-time scope, he was like, you know what, that needs to be my backpack and that needs to be my rig ASAP, because that is worth a lot of money. And this team, honestly, right now, things are looking so great for Rion. We're not sure what Mitek and his squad has been able to get in regards to valuable items. We know that they have definitely killed a lot of players with level 5, as we just saw Mitek being able to finish off a player with level 5. We're going to be seeing here Rion being able to secure at least one exit. If I'm not mistaken, though, I'm not sure if Monarch is in there already. If he was able to make it all the way up, he was. Okay, they are all going to be able to exit. This is massive, massive for this team, for Team English.
Monarch maximizing his opportunity down to the last second, and Team Rion in round 3 with their second successful extraction, likely not going to have enough time for a second game, and so this will be the value that they put up for points. But 600k plus on the loot, and huge game for Team Rion, a Golden Lion on board.
Yeah, and that is just out of one player. I can't wait to see until we see that recap, because boy, this team combined are probably going to be looking to exit with over 2 million, as we see Tokyo there being able to get a valuable item as well. Now they're going to be going through all the saves and make sure that they look through everything. There you go, a laptop. You know what, that's going to be looking nice, especially with them trying to make sure that they keep that score close with what Rion and his squad is currently able to get. They do have 5 minutes. They need to keep track of that score. We saw what happened in round 1. They try to exit, they were not able to exit in time, and they ended up with the donut. Right now this team cannot afford that.
Absolutely, they need to pay attention to that clock so they can get off of this map in time. They've had plenty of opportunity to loot at this point, and up to this point we have seen Mitek take a little bit more time on these maps than Rion, with Rion's team taking the aggressive earliest possible extraction tactic so far. But we're down nearly to the 5-minute mark, and they've got players running around on the map. It looks like they've activated the extraction already, and so they're going to need to group back up here. This is where I get nervous, just like you were saying last round. They're in gunfight here with the player in front of them. Mitek able to take them down with ease, but it's this friction while the team is spread out after the extraction's been activated where you see a huge amount of risk as Team Rion Monarch. You know, we see Monarch on a little bit of a delay. We'll get a chance to see what his loot value was. Huge items in the backpack, despite the fact that it was a medium backpack.
Yeah, and I mean that's going to be massive. Let's see what Monarch is going to end up being with here. And you mentioned it too with Mitek right there, being able to spot that rat. At least he was able to get him this time. If not, boy, that would have just backfired so much. You can see Monarch's trail right there, being able to go all over the place. And 1 million loot value here for Monarch. A massive exit there for Monarch and his squad, as they are going to be looking to put themselves on the board. And now Mitek and his squad are going to be looking to exit. They got in too many close calls, way too many close calls with what has happened so far.
That is officially the highest loot value I've seen on a screen for this map from Monarch. Over 1 million. That does more than close the gap. We have to wait and see what iTokyo, what Mitek and their teammates got for loot value as we get into the final 90 seconds of this extraction countdown. The threat is not completely gone at this point. We've seen teams die right on this spot previously tonight. And so 80 seconds left now. They've got to maintain their security as we see the team peeking out, but all 4 players in the elevator this early, that might be a little risky unless they're sure that map is clear.
Yeah, and that's so scary. We saw what the previous team was able to do. We saw how they had people outside, at least covering them, making sure that nobody was going to be able to surprise them. This is a bit scary, and I mean, this goes just with how this team has been playing, because this team has been playing just so aggressive, not really any regards to how other people might be playing, not really any regards to how possibly, if there are any rats or if they're not, they don't care, Mod. They're just making sure they go through, they run straight. It's like they have a juggernaut too, because this team has zero care in the world. They're going to be running through anybody that comes in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite early difficulties, we see nobody losing the confidence in these games, and you know, both teams getting aggressive in round 3. I love to see it. And just over 10 seconds now, and we get to see if Mitek and iTokyo, if this team is able to recover and maybe still stay close after Rion's huge team loot value here, as they successfully extract as well 2 rounds in a row with both teams getting all 4 players off of the map. 2 minutes to spare. We will not see a second game from either team. And iTokyo now 390,000. That is not going to be enough to significantly close the gap.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough at all, but we do see another player there with 600K. We're just seeing all these loot values coming in and out. And honestly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to put this out there in the world. I think Rion and his team might have been able to take this, but because we're looking at the stats right there, I mean, I'm not good at math, okay? Even though my dad's an accountant, I'm not about to do it there in my mind right now. But wow, I feel like after we get the totals from segment 2, from match 2, and then match 3, it's going to be really close. It's going to be really close, and I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down to the last game possible, Mod 6.
That golden lion may be the difference. If I'm trying to do quick math in my head here, I think that Rion, with that golden lion assist from Monarch, is maybe going to be 500,000 or a little bit more ahead after this round 3. That's my bet on the quick math. Wondering what Trashy and Alex have in their backpack. We didn't see any of their extraction value. And so we're going to see in our recap coming up here in a second, did Team Rion close the gap? Did they fully leapfrog Mitek? And I mean, back and forth and high intensity, but some significant loot value from round 3.
I think there's a high chance that we're more than likely going to be seeing that jump. And is this the overall? Is this what we got so far? It is. And look at that. You were pretty much spot on. Rion now being on top with 2.4 million and Mitek's team at 1.8. That is a massive switch of events right there. A massive, pretty much flip as well. Rion and Monarch.
Here's the crazy
Golden
thing.
Lion.
I think this is just the round 3 numbers. This is wild loot value for these teams.
You might be
We
right.
have a 600,000 coin difference, so we do see the leapfrog, but look at those numbers. 24 and 27 kills in this round. Crazy games for both teams.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you are correct. So that's going to end up putting Rion's team at over 3 million and Mitek's team at 2 point something, or actually 3 as well. It's still going to be close. Regardless of what happens, it is going to be so close. As we're going to be looking at the game highlights here of this match, we saw there Rion being able to get some kills. We saw Mitek and his squad just running through everybody. It didn't matter if they were camping. It didn't matter if they were in the corner. They were just going to go for it. Rion being able to get picked up by his team, I felt like that was just such a clutch moment for that team as well, because they didn't want to be handicapped throughout the whole match by losing one player.
51 combined kills from these two teams in round 3 are most aggressive, most gunfight-filled round seen so far, and a perfect leapfrog from Team Rion as we see all of these gunfights. And this final player from Mitek that he had to stay in the pocket, stay composed, getting all 4 players off the map. But the perfect leapfrog with Rion jumping up probably about 250,000 ahead now. So we're back and forth, but it is not enough margin to make the call either way. These teams are neck and neck as we finish this round.
And I think it's time. I think it's time you show us that Golden Lion event, because we said it. Round 1 was the Rats, right? And I think, you know what? Round 3, it's all about that Golden Lion, baby.
Round 3 was our Golden Lion round. I'm looking forward to getting one of these that's maybe like 10 times as big. We'll have to see. But Monarch coming away with it. That Golden Lion being exactly the difference that they needed. And Team Rion now looking to be 200, 250K ahead maybe. And so while they've pulled off the leapfrog on the score after round 3, we still have 2 more rounds with anything possible, with the loot, with the gunfights, with the possibility of even getting off of the map here. So it really is anybody's game, and it's exciting when it's this close going into the later rounds.
Yeah, if I'm Monarch right now, I'm gonna be going to that exact same spot where I followed that Golden Lion, and I'm gonna be hoping it goes back to back. I'm gonna be hoping that you are gonna be able to get that another Golden Lion, because if they are able to, it's gonna be insane. And I think right now we're gonna be looking at the totals. Actually, no, we're gonna be going into the next match. And for everybody currently watching, we have already played 3 matches. We do have 2 left, as Mod 6 was saying. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what these teams are gonna be doing here in match 4.
We are right at the beginning of the 20-minute countdown timer as we hop on board with Rion. Early looting, finding some medium value watches here. Nothing crazy to start us off, but all of the action with his team looking like they might be in a gunfight here. And he's pretty far from his team early in this game.
He is going to be far from his team, but you know what? It has worked out in the past for him. It hasn't worked out for him as well. He's going to be able to run into a bot, make sure he eliminates him real quick, and now trying to find anybody off the spawns here, because you never know where they're going to be camping. You never know where they're going to be rotating as well. He hears some shots right above him. He needs to be careful. Very, very split from his squad.
Yeah, closing this distance. I mean, we saw a lot of success from both teams in round 3, and so I don't expect that they'll get overconfident, but we also saw them getting really aggressive, and so they may have found what works for them. But based on what we've seen so far, I get nervous every time we see these players split pretty far away from their teams. And you know, we've talked a lot about what Rion was able to do in round 3, but Mitek coming away with huge loot value as well and keeping it very, very close. So I expect that after a round like that, we're going to see the exact same tactics from each of these teams. You don't fix what isn't broken. And so exactly what you said, Monarch's going right back to that loot spot.
Yeah, you know what? The RNG gods might be in his favor. This man has some insane luck. So I would just keep going for it and seeing if possibly it can happen again. I mean, we do have 2 rounds left, so if it can, that's going to be massive for his team. We see... Oh, hold on. Is that a switch? No, it's not. Okay, I thought MeTech was maybe going to be switching his guns. He's not. He's still going to be rocking that H4. And now, I love that they set up their stamina stems, and then on top of that, their painkillers, and they all just push out at the same time and start trying to find people, start trying to go for that PvP. I think this team is trying to go for that PvP, making sure they secure the whole lobby, and then after that, go for those loot value.
Yeah, and you see them pushing with some serious momentum right now as MeTech runs right by those bots down the hallway as that team clearly is looking to close the distance. And now we're on board now with Monarch, and it looks like they are setting up in a team fight as they've got footsteps below them, MeTech headshots all day, and both of these teams working through early gunfights in this 4th round.
I believe the confidence might be back for this team as well. They were a bit split. It seemed like they were wanting to do a 2-2 split. It has changed. Now they have come back together. Same with Rion's team. We saw a bit of a 2-2 split right there. And Tokyo actually ends up getting knocked and ends up getting eliminated. That is going to be a massive, massive handicap there for Team MeTech, as they're going to be looking to see if they can maybe avenge that kill and get that extra loot. They need to be careful. They need to play this smart. We have seen other teams being able to get eliminated right there. Now we switch over to Rion. Rion's currently being able to fight other teams as well. Grenades coming in. Flashbangs coming in. This team needs to be careful. He's currently very low. Another nade. If this hit, that might actually kill him. And he does. He actually ends up knocking him down. His teammates need to make sure they come through and eliminate them and pick him back up. And I think Trashy was just able to do that for him.
This is absolutely intense. Rion goes down in round 2, teammate there to revive him. It goes down in round 3 in a hailstorm of grenades, and we see more grenade indicators on the screen, and these guys under maximum pressure right now as they smoke on Rion, and he tries to potentially get himself into a condition where he won't die to a single bullet. Tokyo going down in what has been the unluckiest spot on the map so far in this event tonight. Grenades still out, and Rion still in the gunfight of the round so far as they stay alive. No, he goes down again. Has no life left. Rion looks left. The opposing team is right. We have a player down from each of our teams now in this 4th round. We're back to the action.
And this is what happens in TV station. If you're going to be getting into a fight, you got to make sure you finish it or you rotate out with your team. If not, there is going to be another team that's going to be able to third party. They're going to be hearing that fight. We've been alluding to it the whole time, and that is a perfect example right there of that happening. Rion gets knocked, handicaps his team, but now, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned it perfectly too. It is going to be 3 players still alive on each squad. They're going to have to play a little bit more compact. That extra confidence that I was talking about, that we were seeing at the beginning of this match, with the margins that we're currently working with how close everything is, they need to make sure they don't lose any extra players, because once we go to that extract, we know what happens there. If there's still players alive, it is going to be very, very hard to get out, especially if they end up losing more players.
Yeah, if round 3 felt like the round of loot luck, round 4 is you better win that gunfight as a team. And this is what I'm talking about the format and the map choice, reducing the RNG. And if you noticed, both teams, when they lost their player, it was a single player clearing a corner and running into multiple players. That clearing, being disciplined as you clear those corners, not getting too aggressive. We saw both of those players die in a single person corner clear. And so that's how dangerous Lockdown Zone on TV station can get. Both of these teams feeling it here in round 4 and looking to hopefully recover. Neither of them likely knows it's a 3v3 yet. So both teams feeling like they're down after a hugely successful 3rd round.
Yeah, and for Rion, it was a bit of a heartbreak right there, right? He just gets picked up. He's able to at least get a little bit of health. He didn't even get a chance to fix up all his broken limbs. He thought he was safe, and he ended up just backfiring in a big, big way as MeTech and his squad are now moving around. Monarch being able to clutch up some kills right there. He currently needs to be careful, though. Both arms are gone, a leg as well, and he's very low in health. Alex is currently backing him up. Monarch being able to back up, get those different angles. This is a great play by Monarch, one of the smartest players in Arena Breakout, being able to heal up now, seeing if he wants to go back for another fight, backing up a little bit more, seeing some footsteps a lot closer to him, and I think it might be just these two players. I think it might be just Monarch and Alex still alive from. It is from Rion's team.
Yeah, these guys under a ton of pressure. They've been in a gunfight consistently for about 4 minutes now, down to 2 players, with Monarch seriously in need of some surgery. So they're managing that situation as we hop on board. Metek not looking so healthy himself, with 3 broken body parts and the rest of him dark red. He hits that green stem as these guys carefully look to move towards this extraction, but they do see footsteps in their direction of movement, so they might be looking to close with what could be a team left on this map.
Yeah, lots of careful play now having to come through both of the teams, because with 12 minutes left, you're not going to have enough time to reset. You're not going to be having enough time to get back into the game and try to get some good loot out. So right now is just commit to the long haul. Make sure you are able to cover all your angles and make sure you are able to get that exit. Right now, we are seeing Metek's team. They still haven't looted any of the bodies that they were able to kill earlier. They're making sure that they clear everything as possible and everything, check all the corners, and then they're going to be going for that loot. But with 12 minutes left, anything can happen here as they are down one teammate. A lot less angles to cover, man. This is so intense. I love it, Matex.
Yeah, and if you notice, they updated the total score on the bottom of your screen. So if you're watching, we've got a 290,000 coin difference between these teams. That's one loot item when it's the right item. And so, you know, two members of the team up for Rion and 3 members of the team up for Metek. These guys under pressure, still threats on the map, and an absurdly close game in our 4th round. And these guys just desperately trying to navigate their way to the extraction point. We aren't even past the 10-minute mark here. They've been in the gunfight essentially from the very beginning of this round.
As I say, maybe a little bit of more of a compact play, maybe a little bit of a safer play here by these teams. Guess what Metek does? He jumps up out in the open, does a quick little 180, and says, okay, there's nobody here. That's how I clear rooms in TV station, in Arena Breakout. Absolute madness out of Metek there. We see Monarch now being able to go back to at least almost full heals. He's going to be able to spot somebody. That's a real player. If I'm not mistaken, he's going to be able to eliminate them right there. Actually, it might have been a bot there. Now they're having to be a little bit more worry here. They're having to be a little bit more careful because they don't know where the team that they were fighting went to. And if I'm not mistaken, we're not being able to confirm any eliminations. And if you were able to see quickly there, Mod6, when they open up that map, that both of the teammates that got eliminated between Rion and also Trashy, they were a bit far away from each other. So they need to be careful because it could be 2 teams trying to fight them here.
Yeah, they've got a lot to deal with before they make it to the extraction point. Just coming up now at the halfway point of round 4, and you're exactly right. I think that Monarch and Alex here are in the toughest situation because they have potentially multiple threats on this map. Only 2 players left. I don't think they have a ton of loot value, but they definitely have enough that they want to get it off the map to compete with a game this close. And so they have plenty of challenges to work through before they're able to try for that successful extraction. Metek looking a little bit more comfortable on this map, a little bit spread from his team. We still hear some footsteps in his general vicinity, but he is moving like, oh, there's a rat, and that's what we talk about on TV station. There's always the potential of a rat around the next corner, and Metek deals with him, but not without taking near death level damage.
Boy, that made me jump. His legs are gone. My legs are gone. I had to catch my breath as you were casting that because I thought that might have been the end right there. Luckily for him, he did have a teammate backing him up, so I think they have learned their lesson. But overall, wow, this is the worryiness out of TV station. You need to be careful. You need to make sure you clear everything. And right now, with 9 minutes left, I'm hoping that Metek and his squad, after he's done healing, he switches up the tactics. AEK is going to be a massive, massive pull for this team, being able to up them in regards to loot and trying to catch up. You mentioned it, 290K. Cohen is the difference in regards to points. With the way that it is looking right now, we haven't really got any chance to see what Monarch and Alex have been able to get. And with that military route backpack, I'm hoping Metek switches it because that backpack is going to be quite a looker in his inventory.
Yeah, he's got real value here. And this is a huge kill for Mitek because with Monarch and Alex under so much pressure, as we see Monarch again in the gunfight, taking more damage. How many heals did he bring into this game, Seven? Because he has used so many up to this point. It's an absolute magic show that he's still alive right now. And Monarch holding it down for the team, but he is under so much pressure right now. I mean, probably endless loot opportunity with how many kills he's got. And Mitek, though, looking a lot more comfortable with one additional player on the map. So Mitek with some real potential opportunity, the value of those kills that he's gotten to use this round, use this game to try and leapfrog back on the overall scoreboard. A real opportunity here for Mitek as Monarch, an absolute slayer in this game, still has to get off of this map, and we are 7.5 minutes left.
Yeah, and to answer your question, I think he brought all the heals, but he's currently starting to run out of them, so hopefully he's not going to be going into any more gunfights right there. 7 minutes left. These teams need to make sure they have a plan to get that extract. And to talk a little bit more about Monarch there, it seems like they were able to clear some bodies, and Monarch is going to be able to at least secure some loot. If I'm not mistaken, he had one of the bosses armor rigs that are actually quite expensive. Mitek's going to be able to find some people. He's going to be able to eliminate them. More rats around TV station. You have to be careful. He's going to be hearing more footsteps. He's currently knocked, so he knows that there's going to be one more person around as he's going to be going for this extra loot in this room. Teammates are going to be on the lookout now. Teammates are going to be worried of the extra players from this team. And right now, Mitek and his squad are trying to get as much loot as possible as they're going to have to make that exit soon.
I love to see him leave that player knocked because that can be the best bait possible. If you know your teammate's knocked and you have a chance to keep him in the game, you may just rush in to try and save them. So they leave this knocked player a huge kill as we see them on their way to the extraction and another rat in the corner, like you said. I mean, how many times are we going to see this tonight? These teams deal with TV station corner rats every game just to be able to get off of the map.
I think I might just put on the mask. Honestly, at this point, we're seeing so many that at this point, I might have just well put on the mask. If you can't beat him, join him, right?
That's Mitek's second rat kill of the game. I call this guy the Exterminator. This is getting crazy, but he's able to pull it off. And he's looting up, playing the backpack Tetris, maximizing his opportunity here, down to 5 minutes and 40 seconds. If they haven't... Our second Golden Lion! He evens the scales on Golden Lions for the night, and that is a huge find for Mitek in this round 4.
Mod, they need to get that exit, and they need to get to that exit now. 5 minutes left. What a pull, too. And by the way he was able to get it is one of the most rewarding ways to get the loot, too. Being able to eliminate somebody, and on top of that, find a golden line. You see them opening up that map. His hands are shaky. This man's looking around. He doesn't know what to do. His palms are sweaty. Even the best players in Arena Breakout get nervous in moments like this. When $2,000 are on the line, when $500 a piece are on the line for each single player, this is gonna come in clutch. And now we have Monarch being able to loot, being able to get those extra points, being able to get that extra coin. Can this team's exit in time is gonna become the main question.
I've never seen a back and forth on the scoreboard like this, and we are on short time now with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Monarch's had his opportunity to loot. These guys are in a race to the finish line, and you're absolutely right. There is nothing more satisfying than pulling a corner rat off of a head glitch and finding a golden lion in the backpack. So Mitek being able to take care of those guys with a head glitch in the prone, in the back corner of a room, and Monarch looking at the spot that in a different game, in a different lobby, produced a golden lion. But unless this safe contains a miracle, he won't be walking away from this one with the lion in the backpack. And so it's looking like Team Rion, after this round, is going to be back in the second place position with something to prove in the final round. But we're not there yet. Neither of these teams are all the way off the map yet, and we are down to within the window of when they will have had to start the countdown timer in order to have a chance to get off this map. So as we approach that 3-minute mark, we are on that countdown to see if anyone gets off this map or if we see more donuts. Monarch through the window, the perfect peek.
The wonderful peak, and I think Monarch right now is currently by himself. I think Atlas ended up getting eliminated, and also for Monarch, that is massive because that player did have an alien helmet, one of those level 6 helmets that we love to see, and they're going to be looking to make that exit as well. 3 minutes left right now. We see Mitek and his squad very close to the exit, and right now Monarch, it's very scary, but if there's any player you can put your trust in, if there's any player that can actually secure that extract, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be Monarch. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit worried about Mitek. Oh, he got
Monarch
eliminated.
goes down.
I should have.
No way.
Mitek now on the extraction with the countdown. The final member of Team Rion eliminated in this 4th round. That is huge for Rion. He's got a golden lion in the backpack. His teammates have loot. They see footsteps, so they might be looking at a threat. 60 seconds left. If he's able to get this extraction done successfully, he's got those teammates in the elevator, but they may be under pressure. He's got to get off of this map. This is his only shot, and it is a huge shot at leapfrogging this score again, but by a much bigger margin going into our final round.
It is 37 seconds left. That's going to be a big old donut there for Rion and his squad. And right now for Mitek, something that is currently keeping me worried a little bit is that Mitek does have that golden line in his composite case. But ladies and gentlemen, if for some reason Mitek ends up dying, yes, he's going to end up exiting with that golden line in his composite case, but that's not going to count towards the score. And that's not something that he's currently maybe thinking about. And at this point, with how many footsteps are around, I think they just might be safe. But for the future, for other contenders, just remember, if you do die, whether it's in your composite case or not, it's not going to count. Right now, for Mitek and his squad, this was the round for them as they were able to secure that golden line. 3 players end up being able to extract alive, and that is a match right there for Mitek and his squad.
Yeah, Monarch doing everything he could to mitigate the effects of Mitek's success here at the end, but he's unable to get off the map. Mitek with huge loot value. Did I see 777 or 711,000 there? Over 700K in round 4. We haven't even seen his teammates loot yet. They're going to jump back into the top position with a solid margin going into round 5. We're going to have to see a huge result from Team Rion, but they've done it already. They have 2.4 mil in the bag for one of their rounds, and so we know it's possible. Man, Rion under pressure in round 4.
And I loved what you just said there, Motsix. I love that you mentioned Rion and his squad has been able to pull a big number extract in match number 3. Now, for everybody currently saying in the chat, oh, Mitek already won. They got this in the back. Ladies and gentlemen, calm down. This is Arena Breakout. You don't know what's going to be happening here in the last round. The RNG gods could be in Monarch's favor again. And you know what? Secret documents are out there. I'm just saying. They are out there, and they could definitely pocket a certain team $2,000.
Listen, if you think this is already decided, you must just be joining us because we have been on a roller coaster all night long. All right, this has gone back and forth literally every round since we've seen our first extraction tonight. And so, yeah, absolutely not decided yet. We've seen some huge extractions from both of these teams, but the first round so far tonight where one team had a successful extraction and the other team pulled 0 with all 4 players dying. So the first time that we've seen this, we're going to see a recap and see our round 4 scores here in just a minute. We're going to see the highlights from this last round, and then we will take our final break before we come back to the final round, round 5, where we get to see, you know, the deciding round on who wins this incredible back and forth between these two teams.
I'm ready. I'm ready for all of this because at this moment, yes, Mitek is going to end up having the lead, but boy, anything can happen as Mitek and his squad end up exiting with 1.5 million points that's going to be going towards their squad. And Rion there with the donut. And what's crazy too is that happened. Rion's squad got eliminated towards the end of the match, towards where the timer, they weren't really going to be able to do much. And this could happen to Mitek and his squad as well in round 5. Anything can happen here, Mod6.
Dude, I mean, and honestly, that is lower than I thought it would be. We only have about a 1.2 million coin margin between these teams. That's half of the extraction value that Rion had in round 3. So this is anyone's game. It is close, and it all depends on how they handle these lobbies in this next round. As we see, Rion goes down, is able to get back up, but then tragically he looks left and they are right, like I said, in game, and he goes down, and that was the beginning of the end for his team. Monarch trying to keep it together, trying to close the gap and get some value, but Mitek was unstoppable with the rats.
And right there, that rat, I think you and I both took a bit of our heart skipped a beat, to say the least, because boy, that was a scary sight right there. Mitek being able to spot the rat, that rat wise hiding because of that right there, ladies and gentlemen. That golden lion, he was waiting that nobody was going to be, he was hoping that nobody was going to be near him, nobody was going to be looking for him, but Mitek and his squad, we have seen them clear every single edge of TV station. It has worked out wonders for them, and it worked out wonders for them in this round, as they are going to have a nice cushion. But you mentioned it, it wasn't as much as we thought it was going to be. I thought maybe they were going to be able to exit with more than 2 mil. We have seen Rion and his squad being able to exit with more than 2 mil, so anything is going to be possible in round 5.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I'm getting it out again. We got the Golden Lion, our second one of the night. And if I'm not mistaken, that ties the all-time record for Golden Lions found in one of the Golden Lions Legion events. Can we absolutely blow it out of the water and get a third Golden Lion in round 5? That might be what decides it for the night. So we're going to jump into our next 10-minute break here, and then we will be back for round 5 of this event. Still anyone's game. A 1.2 million coin margin in favor of Mitek right now, but we've had plenty of deaths and we've had some huge extractions. I'm excited to see what these guys bring to us, but there's going to be no shortage of gunfights in action coming up.
Yeah, me too. Let's see what's going to happen after this break, baby. I'm ready. Bring it on.
Oh, and we've got one thing. Don't walk away from the screen yet. We have the CD keys coming up. 10 more codes. We'll surprise you with them. We're going to test how fast those fingers are. Get the game out, get into the events tab, and redeem that code for that higher level ammo, and test your skills in TV station. See if you've got what it takes to try and hold out like Monarch tried to in that last round. I don't know. That's some pressure.
You know that person that was just getting, I was like, okay, 10-minute break is coming up. I'm going to be able to go real quick, get some water, maybe do a quick little pee break. And he heard codes coming through. That boy ran back so fast, and he opened up Arena Breakout. If he probably didn't have Arena Breakout open already just to get those codes.
Yeah, we're keeping you on your toes tonight. And so, yeah, that's our third set of codes. We have one more final set coming at the end here, and our final round coming up as well. So we've got that break coming up, and yeah, don't go anywhere, because this is one of the most intense Arena Breakout events I've ever casted. And yeah, we're getting the action that we asked for here tonight.
Yep.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got the job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just employados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's go get it from the basement.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
I didn't have much choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here. But food on the table.
Why are you here? Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfden, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! Let it be opposite! Good night! Down! Cover me! Suppressing fire!
Hang in there!
Reloading!
Bernard! Bernard! We're in that asshole!
Reloading! Target down!
Just do your fucking job. All units, move up! Eat shit! Grenade! Get down! Keep moving! Quit playing with your food for fuck's sake! This is why I'm gonna take you out.
The area
We're in
is about
position at
to
the
be
east
cordoned
entrance.
off as gas
Power's
is
back.
activated.
Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you
personnel-
said there's nobody here.
Mouth stop, boys!
Cover me!
Hold position!
I could breathe.
Get to the second
about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to leave immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got the job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just empleados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
We are back for round 5, and it has been a lively one tonight. I am Mod 6, and I am here with the 7WG for what is clearly the most exciting of the Golden Lions Legion events so far. 7, what do we got here? Maybe a 1.2 million difference in score?
I believe so, man. And I think anything can happen. So you know what? For everybody right now in the chat, for everybody currently watching at home, I want you to let me know and spam it, please. Absolutely spam in the comments who's going to be winning. Is it going to be Team English or is it going to be Team Espanol? Because right now, going into the last match with Team Golden Lions, what if a team gets maybe 2 Golden Lions? Anything can happen here, Mod6.
Yeah, listen, we might have a lot of people favoring MeTech here going into the final round with this 1.2 million point lead, but we've already seen a 2.4 million extraction from Rion. So it all depends on how they handle these gunfights. If they can cool those nerves, stay in the pocket, win those fights, and get those headshots. And if they don't get complacent when they think they've cleared all of the threats and spread out too far, they need to keep that security, keep that nice balance of team being spread out enough to not all get killed by the same grenade, but close enough to be able to give themselves the needed support, as it's been hot all night on TV station lockdown zone.
Yeah, and you were saying you're thinking a lot of people might be going for Team MeTech. Well, guess what? Right now in that chat, shout out to everybody currently spamming, whether it's Team English or Team Espanol. I'm seeing a lot of English everywhere. So the support, the belief is still there. People think that Monarch with his RNG greatness might be able to pull another Golden Lion, and it's gonna come down to who can actually extract. We saw it at the beginning. Both of these teams had trouble. Both of these teams were not able to successfully extract, and they ended up with a big old donut. That could happen here for Team MeTech as we do go over to Tokyo. He's currently trying to look at some angles, and I think he might be currently in a fight. He needs to be careful because remember, this was the player that got eliminated earlier, super early in the last round.
Yeah, and you see the kill breakdown up to this point. Team MeTech with 69 kills to Rion's 41. I mean, that is a 260,000 point margin, I believe, if my math is right. So these kills absolutely playing a factor in the score tonight, and it does look like we are seeing like a bit more of some conservative gameplay. These guys are still moving with momentum, but they're staying closer together, at least from Team MeTech so far.
And right now, where we're looking at Rion, I think they just got into a fight as the grenades are going to be coming in. Yeah, he's currently trying to heal up. Now Monarch's going to be coming in for the backup. You have Alex as well. I'm not seeing that 4th player. I'm not sure if he's already there or where he might be at, because Trash is currently nowhere to be seen. And here comes the push. Monarch going in first, followed by Rion. Monarch's being able to kill some people, and that's going to be level 6 right there. That is going to be massive for this team, if I saw that right. Going to be able to spot another player. Going to be able to eliminate him right there for Rion. Things are looking great for a team that right now, and Trashy, just to confirm it, Trashy is still alive. He was going for the off angle. Things are looking great for the team that needs to make sure they catch up to Team Spanish.
And that gunfight right there shows you the difference between a team that maintains momentum through the gunfight and one that waits in the same place to see what's going to happen, as we see Trashy hold the angle and suppress that team while 3 players flank around, get those kills, and then we just saw Monarch finish off another player, likely from that team, and pulling some solid level 5 loot, and I think that was an FAL, so some real value in early kills from Team Rion.
That is going to be great. And Rion right now has to look through all this loot, has to go look through that map for the foul, because if there's any M61 right there, that could make it as well for this team, because of how much the M61 just one round cuts so much that they could possibly get enough to make it a big difference. Right now, we see MeTech being towards the center of TV station, a very risky area, especially with that flashlight on. The 2-story, everybody's going to be able to spot him. You see him there trying to be aware, but now he's going to be opening up this key, and this key is the one I was talking about. This is one of the most expensive keys in this map. Going to be going for that save. What's he going to be getting? Is he going to be blessed again with the golden line? He's not, but he's going to be getting at least some purple items.
Yeah, it looks like he's not having the best luck, like you said, with that key. Some decent value, but we haven't seen anything that's been a game changer in the loot yet. Pretty consistent loot with some level 5 gear on Team Rion, some average mid-value purple items on Team Mytek so far. Now, with this game, the way it's progressing, they're both progressing through at about the same pace, and we've seen them pick up the aggression a little bit, but it's early so far. We see some value here, that 995.
That 995 is going to be very, very handy as well with this level 5. This is going to be good for this team. Now, what are they going to be doing? Because this early on in the match, yes, you are going to be getting all this good loot. You can see them being able to take a strength stim, which is going to allow him to actually run. I think he was over the 70 kg limit. But they need to be careful because a lot of people are still going to be alive. It is way too early into their match whenever they do try to go for that extract.
Yeah, we just passed the 5-minute mark, and it's important to note we're on board with Rion right here, and he just used the blue stem because he's already overweight. So early on, it looks like that dude is carrying some weight right now, probably from some of that gear, but these guys are steady picking up the pace that they're looting, and we see Tokyo right now taking some damage from that grenade a little bit in front of his team. They've got an enemy player down just to his right. He's healing up now as his team covers him. He may be the target here as his team maneuvers a bit to try and close the distance and get these kills. I'm not sure if they downed the player that threw the grenade or not, but it seems like they are worried about the threat across this room.
Yeah, and across the room is because we saw a lot of smoke over there, and right now Tokyo being very, very careful, baby stepping as he was very close to the stairs as well. You can see them being able to find a knock. Actually, Mytek being able to loot now, one of the players that he was able to get into a fight with earlier. Only going to be level 4 with this level 4 squad. At most, I'll be surprised if they end up getting any 995 ammo out of this. More than likely, it's going to be A1. But honestly, for this team, with the current lead that they do have, it could end up working on their favor. And right now, we haven't really seen an update. And I honestly don't want to do the math. I kind of want to leave the suspense up there because anybody can win this. You can see now Rion making a push here with the AUG, switching from his H4. Actually, no, he is currently still with the H4. He's going to be able to spot somebody. It's going to be bots. He needs to be careful because this bots definitely do a lot of damage, and he's going to make sure he headshots all of them, as now he's taking a lot of damage. Back up and try to get those heals.
Rion taking more damage than he planned on for sure in that bot encounter. And again, we see him taking damage. It may just be bots, but the problem with this is his team is a bit spread out. And even though those are just bots, that can attract the attention of a potential team in this lobby. They're going to need to be careful about how they manage that distance. We see some mid-value items here, but nothing that's a major game changer so far.
Yeah, right now it's not looking so great here for Team Rion, Team English, as they need to close up that lead. They need to find those golden lines. They need to find those extra wonderful loot. And honestly, we're focusing so much on the golden lines that during that break, you and I were both talking. We were like, okay, if they actually find some keys, that could be a switch of events as well, because the keys are just so expensive right now for this map. You can see them taking on fights with those bots. Those bots are going to be worth at least 5K points toward their overall system. But with those fights that they're currently taking, something that John on AB brings up that is it's very important is that they are going to be taking damage. They are going to be taken away from that armor. And with these teams, with what we've seen, whenever they try to exit, they want to make sure they don't lose too much of their armor.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of action so far, and we are 8.5 minutes into this round, almost to the halfway point of this 5th round. We haven't seen any game-changing items because Mytek, he just has to be consistent. His team has to have a consistent game, get an extraction with 3 or 4 players, and have some decent value to win this. Whereas Rion needs a game-changing item or a couple of sets of serious armor to close the distance, close that 1.2-ish million gap, and recover that lead.
And they are going to be covering that lead. I think they just called out that they are currently fighting real people. You can see Mytek just being able to disengage there from that looting that he was doing, and now trying to be a little bit more aggressive, now looking for all those angles, making sure he clears every corner. We saw what happened earlier to Rion, and he doesn't want it to happen to him. making sure nobody's hiding, especially up the stairs. Remember what happened earlier to him? His legs were gone. Luckily for him, he was able to eliminate that rat. And right now, it doesn't seem like there's any rats in this area of the map, as everybody has them flashlights on. So if any rats do come around, they're going to get blinded.
Yeah, and these guys showing some remarkably good coordination as we hear the call out about the threat, and all 4 players show up with different angles in the same room at the same time. These guys maximizing their opportunity to win these gunfights. And, you know, Mitek with a little bit of value here. They're having the consistent game that they need to have right now. And so all the pressure is on Rion and Mitek. I mean, these guys are playing casually at this point.
Yeah, they're slowing it down. We were talking about it. You mentioned it perfect too. Consistency is going to be key for them. If they can just exit with some value, at least a mil between all of them, not even that. And right now with the loot that we saw, as we do see a level 5 there, that's going to be good for this team as well. But what we saw from the loot that Monarch and also the rest of that squad was able to get, it's not good enough right now with what we're seeing, right? We need to see a lot more. It's going to come down to the end, man. I tell you, it's going to come down straight to the end, because these teams are still going to need to extract. And we know how crazy extracts get on this map. Anything can happen. It can come down to the last minute. And as I'm looking at the timer here, we are way past the halfway mark, because now they're going to have to switch. They're thinking, okay, yes, you are very chill. You know what? Especially with Mitek's team, you're trying to be a little bit more consistent. You're trying to make sure you all end up getting out and end up getting some loot. But with 8 minutes left, now you got to start thinking, okay, when are we going to go for this extract? How fast do we want to push it? And right now, for this team, for Monarch and his squad, they got nothing to lose. They might as well just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rion, Trashy, Monarch, Alex, these guys need to be aggressive at this point, whereas we expect Mitek is looking for the extraction opportunity. We're down to just over 8 minutes. These guys are now on short time, and we absolutely can see from Rion's perspective here that they have picked up the urgency. They're still staying pretty close together. They know they have to get an extraction. If their team goes down, we're past the point where they can get in a second game. They know that if they die as a team, they lose this fight. This is a winner-take-all prize pool tonight with $2,000 on the line. And so Rion and team have to keep it together, keep their security up, make sure they can handle the gunfight, but they have to move really aggressively across this map, as they need, you know, they have 4 minutes and 43 seconds to activate that extraction to be able to have a chance at a win.
Yeah, and for Rion and his squad, I mean, at this point, the synergy, the chemistry is starting to showcase. To be fair, with Team English, it was supposed to be Kiwi, it was supposed to be Crafty. Changes have been made to that team, and for them to be able to even pull out this performance when they haven't played with each other, when things were changing last minute, as Crafty wasn't able to make it here because he was going to go on a trip, so he wasn't going to be able to make it to the team. Kiwi with something with the family came up, so he wasn't able to participate as well. Lots of changes there for Team English, and they're currently putting up a good performance. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually surprised with the way they've been able to play, with what they've been able to pull up. But then on the opposite of that, you see the complete synergy, the complete chemistry that Mitek and his squad has right now. They're just covering each other. They're just so aggressive. They're just being so consistent with making sure that they play this as they have no worries in the world, and right now it's working wonders for them.
Yeah, we see Tokyo here just being very careful as he moves slowly down this hallway, and these guys clearly trying to get to the point where they have the extraction open and they've got themselves secured near that extraction, because they know they have enough loot unless something crazy's happened. They don't know if they've, you know, if Rion has found a secret document or not, but if I was them, I would be pretty sure I've got enough value to carry this match. And so they're looking for this extraction, and we see how much closer they're playing to each other this late in the game compared to some of our first couple of rounds. Both of these teams staying very, very secure right now as we're into the last 6 minutes of this final round. Both teams likely feeling like if they can't get a solid extraction, they give up any chance at the win at this point.
Yeah, with 5 minutes left, that 6 minute mark that you were talking about right now, that mentality's got to switch. We've been hinting at it, that past that halfway point after the 10 minute. it starts switching. Everything starts changing now, right now, for Mitek and his squad. You mentioned it too. Stay together. Make sure you don't go too far alone, which we have seen this team do, and it has actually backfired on them. They've also gotten a bit lucky at times with the rats not being able to hit those shots and not being able to have the quality armor that they need to be able to overpower Mitek and his squad. But right now, this team is looking good, and this team is looking like they might end up taking it. But you never know. It's going to come down to the last minute because we don't know what Monarch is currently carrying in his backpack. He could end up having possibly a golden lion like he was able to surprise us earlier.
Yeah, and Rion now still in a couple of these gunfights. They look to be bots and not a team that he's dealing with, but he has those footsteps down in the low ground in front of him as he continues to loot here. And you're right, we have not seen in the backpack of Trashy, Monarch, Alex, Alucard, Kennedy, we haven't seen any information on what they might have. And so we're making our guesses only based on the information that we and you have seen on the screen right now. But it is looking like Rion is ready for the extraction. They're organized at the extraction point, whereas I don't see Mitek or their tail. Okay, so they're near the extraction point. They likely have that extraction activated already, and they're doing their final looting task. So we are down to the wire here with both teams very close to the extraction. No clue as to which team is ahead on loot in this final game, and a 1.2 million margin between these teams, with our highest extraction tonight being double that. And so we this is going to come down to the last screen where we see the game recap to see who wins this.
Yeah, and I love that Tokyo was just showcasing that wonderful new knife in Arena Breakout, that Talon Striker knife for Season 3, because, boy, it looks amazing. He was thinking about possibly going into Warehouse, that room that they were looking at, and maybe looting it, but then I think he realized how many angles there are towards that room with windows and maybe being a little bit too exposed, that he decided to back off. And now, at this point, guess what? Mitek and his squad need to head towards that exit. At this moment, you do not want to end up getting into a fight. You do not want to end up being surprised by some rats. You want to get out of there and secure at least some loot.
Yeah, this is down to the final 3 minutes now. And so you can't imagine the level of tension on these teams knowing that they're this close to the extraction. Both teams likely thinking that they have a chance at the win here. And in the final seconds as they move towards their extraction point, try and stay together. And we see Mitek moving slowly here. And so this dude is carrying some weight with all of that equipment. Final 7 seconds here.
Oh,
the whole team isn't in the extraction point.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well. I think Alex was out there. I'm not sure if Alex ended up dying or what, but I saw his gamer tag all the way far away from his team. They are gonna at least be able to secure some loot, which is nice, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna be able to come out with here as we're looking at Rion's 558,000 though. That is massive for this team.
Yeah, that's on pace for what they need, but we're about to see what the numbers are here from Mitek, and if he puts up some decent comparative numbers, that's an indicator that this might just close it out. But again, we have to see what all of those teammates had in the backpack, add up those kills as well before we will know the final result. But both teams have players off the map. The question still out there on Rion, and if everyone made it off the map.
Oh, the suspense here, as we don't want to see yet what they ended up with. We can see there in Tokyo being able to exit successfully as well. We don't know what happened there with Rion, with some of the other players. I think only 2 players were able to exit successfully, and this might be why. We can see Monarch there still looting. He's trying to find those extra items. He's trying to go for that extra loot possible. And it's going to come down to the end. I don't know if that's going to end up counting there for Monarch or what's going on. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of round 5 of this TV station tournament. And honestly, I would like to think, Mod 6, that Mitek, with the nice lead that they had coming into this last round, that they won. But Monarch and me not being able to see everything that was within that backpack, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we have such limited information about what loot these players have in their backpack. We're not even sure if everybody made it off the map at this point, and what counts and what players' loot counts and what doesn't. Monarch had a completely full backpack, but half of his team had already extracted, and we're not even sure if there was another extraction point possible or activated. We know they can't use the final 10-minute extraction points. They don't have enough time, and so it's going to come down to this final game recap and taking a look at the scores. But given the consistency, given that all 4 players were in that elevator for MeTech, I think he's going to take this with a consistent round 5 game.
It is. Consistency is always the key when it comes down to this event. I mean, let's just recap everything real quick, right? First segment, first match, both of the teams end up dying and end up with the Big O Donut, which I think at least for me, I'm not going to speak for you, but at least for me, that was quite a shocker. At least I thought at least one team was going to be able to exit. Boy, was I surprised when both of the teams ended up getting 0.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, it ended up being the warm-up round for both of these teams as they recovered in round 2. Both had consistent games. And then going into round 3, both teams with, as far as we know, both teams with their highest extraction value of any game in the evening, with, Rion coming away with 2.4 million for his team value on the scoreboard in that 3rd round. So they had a solid recovery and momentum, and then hit that wall of players and the struggles of deaths again in that 4th round.
Yeah, and then on this last round, we saw at least 2 players there from Rion's team being able to exit successfully. We still don't know if Monarch was able to exit successfully and if it is actually going to count there, as the timer was going down. MeTech was able to exit. They were playing a little bit more compact, and I think that's something too that we need to highlight out of these teams, right? How they were able to, not only for MeTech's team to be consistent, but also able to readjust themselves as they went through the tournament, as we went through these matches. At first, we heard MeTech say, yeah, we're not going to be using a foul. I don't think it's needed. We saw what happened in the first round. Going into the second round, I mean, Tokyo was just rocking that foul. They were like, okay, we need that extra power. We need to make sure we win this engagement. And ever since then, they were able to win every engagement, and they were able to actually exit successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's the coordination between the teams was a constant factor throughout this. And I think that did play a huge part in how consistent that MeTech and the rest of his team were able to be by the end of this, because by round 5 we saw them with a clear plan, moving together. And then I love the way these rule sets, you see the players adapt to the rules, right? In a normal game you would never throw on a 0 durability vest or even think about that, but under these rules these players have to think, they have to do the math and figure out how to maximize that score.
And here we go for the recap, as MeTech being able to exit with 2 million in that last round. Rion only being able to exit with 1 million points. And honestly, I think it's safe to say, I think it's going to be Team Espanol. Team MeTech is going to end up taking this win once we end up showing the overall, because this team was just so consistent. Once again, for Rion and his squad, congratulations to them. I felt like they just put up such a great performance, considering that a lot of these teams and a lot of these players on that Team English, on Team Rion, came in last minute. They were able to do wonderful, and they were actually able to improve a lot as the tournament went on.
Yeah, we said all MeTech needed to do was have a consistent game in order to take this win, and we're finishing with a margin of over 2 million because they didn't just have a consistent game. We see them in these gunfights here, taking some damage as they went, but like I said, they didn't just have a consistent game. They came away with their highest loot value of any game they played this evening as their final game. So when it mattered, it counted for Team MeTech. Rion coming up a little bit short, not able to get all 4 players off the map in time. But I mean, from 2 players, they had 1 million in points. The margin was so slim, and you have no idea what it would have been if all 4 had made it off the map.
Yeah, anything could have happened there. We can definitely sit here and think of scenarios where maybe a secret document might have come into play, maybe more golden lions. I'm just happy, man. I'm just happy we got a chance to do this. And now let's look at the actual overall value. MeTech there with 6.7 million, and Rion in the squad there with 4.3. You can definitely tell that that match 4 was a bit much for this team to be able to try to catch up with Mitek and his squad with the consistency that we've seen out of them.
Yeah, that coordination, these guys have played together before, and you know, there's something about guys with deep high-level experience in PUBG Mobile that when they come to Arena Breakout, they have some serious success. So hey, that's been a consistent theme, but we saw some crazy plays, some great gunfights from Rion and his team with Trashy and Monarch, some legends on the team, and that consistency from Mitek, it won the day tonight, and these guys picked up momentum throughout the entire competition. Mitek and team started equal with Rion, donuts in round 1, but as Team Rion went back and forth with some struggle and some success, Mitek and his team built momentum in every game throughout the event tonight. And so that consistency, the ability to build momentum all the way into the final round, allows them to take the win by, again, a margin of over 2 million points in this format.
Yeah, and remember at the beginning when I told you, Monarch, that I didn't want to say the team that I thought was going to win because I didn't want to be biased? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I ended up picking the right team, and I love that picture that they ended up using for Mitek because you could see him, he just having flashback of those rats waiting in TV station, waiting to camp, waiting to try to exit and end up destroying them. Just an amazing tournament, man. I'm glad, and I'm glad that we got to see how important synergy and chemistry is within a team. We saw that perfect within Mitek's team, being able to adjust themselves, being able to make sure they talk with each other. The communications is always so big. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if Rion or how were the comms there, because at times when we're watching the gameplay, we saw Rion being able to use the little voice mechanism in the game. So we don't know if he was actually being able to use the comms, how were the comms within that team. But overall, I'm just happy that they were able to put up such a good performance. Shout out to Monarch, shout out to Trashy, to Alex and Rion as well, because that was a solid performance out of this team, considering that this team was made probably within, I think, the last hour.
Yeah, and you know, we have seen in previous events, oh, the RNG, it's luck, they got lucky, they found that. We saw absolutely none of that tonight, right? It came down to who consistently won those gunfights and who made the plan and successfully maneuvered to the extraction point, because both teams, each team had a golden lion. There was literally zero difference in the opportunity tonight. And so we got a chance to see a event that came down to some of the core principles here in the game, the team coordination, the decision making, and you know, when it comes down to it, staying in the pocket and winning those gunfights. So I think we should have a final set of CD keys for redemption coming up as well, giving you more advance notice that we should have 10 more. There they are. I gave you a warning. I gave you 4 seconds warning, which is more than
the heads up.
2 seconds late on the last one. So I want to see in the chat if anyone was able to successfully redeem one of those codes. Hopefully we didn't lose the people that have been so far, because I've seen the frustration about not being quick enough when those codes come up on the screen. And yeah, like I said, get to that level 4 ammo and get into TV station and see if you can pull out a golden lion like we saw tonight.
This tournament just makes me so excited and so happy to see what's gonna happen in the future with Arena Breakout, because let me tell you something right now, these teams aren't going up against each other, but I know that we have seen in China especially, Arena Breakout does have custom lobbies. So whenever that does end up making their way to global, oh baby, I cannot wait, because whoever's saying RNG, it's all about RNG, boy, stop talking about that, because once they're in the same map, it's going to come down to skill, it's going to come down to stalemates, and it's going to come down to knowledge, chemistry, and synergy. And I can't wait for that. Luckily, right now, we're at least getting a chance to see all of this, getting us hyped up. And every single time we are improving. Shout out to production as well. We have gotten some amazing graphics added to this broadcast, which I really enjoy. I'm pretty sure the viewers are enjoying as well. So every single little time, things are improving. And honestly, I know we're not ending it quite yet, because we're going to see if we can maybe get an interview there with Mitek. But it's been a pleasure casting with you, Mod6. It's been so smooth, man. And we got some of the best action by far that I have seen at this Golden Line events.
Yeah, likewise, man. And tonight we saw a ton of back and forth, a ton of intensity. You mentioned it, but consider the environment in game when we get our open lobbies, and these lobbies have 3, 4, 5 teams full of these pros in them. There's some real intensity coming in this game.
There is, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And the producer was talking to us, and I was just mesmerized by what you were saying. I think he said maybe there's gonna be an interview coming up. If you can tell me again, because I was not paying attention. I'm just hyped up. I'm thinking about custom lobbies, teams going up against each other, and then the trash talking, and then maybe we can get some team comms in here too, because I would love to hear what these teams are telling each other when they are getting into those fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Those listen-ins when we have custom lobbies are going to be absolutely crazy. And we see a confirmed code redemption in the chat. I'm excited about it. I love it when we see those. We're waiting on MeTech right now. So as soon as he's available, we're going to jump into an interview. And we've got questions for him about, did the experience playing with these people that he's played with so many iterations in multiple games and consistently, how much does that play a factor in a game like this where communication and decision-making is such a huge factor?
Yeah, and I think that the main one for me that I would like to know is what happened after that first match. So you know what? Let's just jump into this interview with MeTech and let's see what he's got to say, because I'm excited and I can't wait to translate.
MeTech, congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
MeTech, I have a question for you right off the bat. After that first match, you guys were not able to extract successfully. What was your mindset? What was the adjustment that you guys made into the second match and so on?
Pues la verdad fue un poco difícil. Estoy acostumbrado a lidiar con ese tipo de presión y tal. Por ahí un compañero, el que tenía que iniciar la partida, como que se fue a hacer algo y empezamos 3-4 minutos tarde. Luego tuvimos un par de problemas dentro de la partida y tal. Nos fue mal, pero dijimos, bueno, es la primera, todavía tenemos 4 chances, vamos a ir arriba con todo. Y afortunadamente el otro equipo también aparentemente no le fue bien en el primer round y eso nos hizo quedar un poco más tranquilo y con confianza para la siguiente ronda.
All right, right on. Let me see if I can actually remember all of that here. What he said, he's used to actually having this kind of pressure. The only thing that actually went a little bit sour in that first round is that one of his teammates, the one that is in charge of being able to start the match, I don't know what he went and did, but they ended up starting the match very late. They ended up starting the match around 3 to 4 minutes late, so that definitely hindered them. It didn't really matter. They were able to adjust. They were able to make sure they came out on top, and they came out with the win.
Yeah, and I'm interested to know about that team synergy and how much of a factor it played building that momentum throughout the games tonight, having played with these guys so consistently. That may need some translation there.
¿Entendiste o no?
Sí, lo he entendido. Muchas gracias por el comentario igual.
No, la pregunta que te hizo. Ok, espera, te traduzco.
¿Habló del tema de la sinergia?
Sí, la sinergia con tus amigos.
¿Y cómo la
¿Qué tan importante fue eso? No, ¿qué tan importante fue eso en este torneo? How important was the synergy within this team?
Okay. La verdad es que, bueno, el tema de la sinergia no la teníamos mucho, ya que nosotros no solemos jugar juntos, Lucas estamos por su parte, Kennedy y Tokio por la suya. Hay veces que sí colaboramos y jugamos juntos.
All right. Well, MeTech, creo que estamos teniendo un poquito de problemas y no te podemos escuchar muy bien. I think we're having a little bit of issues there and we're not being able to actually fully being able to hear him. So you know what, we're going to end the interview short, but congratulations. Felicitaciones a tu equipo en ganar $2,000. Congratulations on your team on winning $2,000. And from what I was able to hear there all throughout that messiness, I believe he was saying that they actually didn't have that much synergy, which was surprising because there are 2 players that are within his clan. But nonetheless, I mean, we saw them being able to cut him on top. We saw them being able to work on that synergy as the tournament went on. And overall, a good performance out of this team.
Congratulations. Well played, MeTech. Well, what it came down to tonight is that ability to recover from that first round get coordinated and build momentum, and Mitek and his teammates pulled that off. And yeah, and those gunfights in round 4 and round 5, you know, able to have that 100% consistency, get all 4 players to the extraction point. Mitek and his teammates come away with $2,000, and I'm gonna let the 7WG close us out here in just a second, but I gotta say, this is our first time casting together. I had a great time learning from a pro here, and we had no shortage of action from our players. Arena Breakout as a game gives us so many opportunities for that action, and the production team nails it every time. So it's been a pleasure to cast. The 7WG here on the co-cast with me is going to close us out for the night, but thanks for joining us.
Hear me out, man. I already gave us our roses. I'll do it again. Likewise, it's been an absolute pleasure. This has been one of the smoothest casting that I've had, considering that we have never talked to each other before. We have never met each other before, and this was as smooth as possible. And you mentioned it too. Shout out to production. They have done a wonderful job. For everybody currently in Indonesia that's in production, thank you. Terima kasih. I appreciate you guys doing your thing. And for Arena Breakout, thanks for giving us this opportunity to be able to cast together, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again in the future. And for everybody currently watching at home, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed TV Station, and make sure you subscribe to this man's YouTube channel, Mod6, and my YouTube channel, the 7WG, because we're definitely going to be putting up content for Arena Breakout. With that said, it's been your boy, the 7 Worlds Gaming, the 7WG, alongside Mod6. It's been a pleasure being able to bring this tournament for you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.